Chapter 144. On the other side, a boy holding a stick whispered, "I bet this fatty must have fallen in love with Xia Xiaochan. I know it from his eyes. However, I admire his courage." The little girl glared at the boy who spoke, and the boy immediately shut up and looked up at the sky. And Han Fei also looked at the boy, and the first word that flashed in his heart was jealousy. This person is a bit too handsome. But Han Fei immediately continued to look at the little girl, trying to show his elegant side. Xia Xiaochan, good name. The cicada chirps in summer, but hibernates for several seasons. The epiphyllum blossoms, but waits for the whole day. Xia Xiaochan narrowed her eyes. You know cicada? I'm so cute. Han Fei immediately grinned. The little girl's voice was really nice. Why is there an iceberg-like little beauty next to her? Although she is also good-looking, she is obviously not as smart as Xia Xiaochan. After a pause, Han Fei hurriedly said, I read about cicada from an ancient book. I've heard of this creature. Okay. Did I ask you to chat? Han Fei, right? You only need to hold on for 3 minutes in front of them and you will pass. But I have to remind you that if you can't even hold on for 3 minutes, I won't refund your tuition fee. The sloppy old man turned into a proud little old man at this moment and seemed to be very confident in these boys. At this time, the silent iceberg-like beauty said, Luo Xiaobai, manipulator, junior great fishing master, exotic spiritual plant, blue cannibal flower. Nice to meet you. The fatty, who was much thinner than Han Fei, chuckled. Brother, my name is Lu Renquang, junior great fishing master, and I am an armorist. My spiritual beast is an exotic spiritual clam. You must hold on for 3 minutes. Then you will definitely become a good brother to me. Han Fei despised him in his heart. Why the F***ck would I be a good brother to you? As for the handsome boy, he said lazily, Zhang Xuanyu, a peak-level fishing master, a soul warrior, and his spiritual beast is an exotic bloodthirsty shark. Brother, I think you are a local tycoon. I like to make friends with local tycoons. Come on. A cunning gleam flashed in Xia Xiaochan's eyes. Xia Xiaochan, also a junior great fishing master, professional hunter, exotic spiritual beast, shadow shrimp. Oh, by the way, I have a second exotic spiritual beast, the giant arowana. Besides, I don't like fatties. Han Fei paused and was dumbfounded. Is a great fishing master so worthless? There was only one peak-level fishing master, and the others were all junior great fishing masters. What a group of monsters! The most important thing was not their level. Each of them was an exotic spiritual beast, and it sounded like they were all F***king powerful. What was even more terrifying was that the little lowly actually had 2 exotic spiritual beasts. He had never heard of anyone having 2 exotic spiritual beasts. In this shabby academy, there were really crouching tigers and hidden dragons. Han Fei immediately took a breath. Han Fei, a junior great fishing master, a spirit gatherer and a soul warrior. As for his spiritual beast, spirit-swallowing fish. They immediately looked at Han Fei strangely. What the hell? Spirit-swallowing fish? The bearded man looked at Han Fei with interest. Interesting, a guy whose spiritual beast was only a spirit-swallowing fish was a spirit gatherer and a soul warrior at the same time? And to be able to become a great fishing master in the village at such a young age, this kind of talent was very outstanding. The bearded man asked, Han Fei, are you ready? 5 minutes, are you ready? Han Fei took a deep breath. Although the 4 students in front of him looked harmless, they were all masters of the 5 professions, all had exotic spiritual beasts, and almost all were junior great fishing masters. He had to take them seriously. Wow. I'm ready, the bearded man suddenly shouted. Start. The 4 people on the opposite side shouted at the same time, Fuse. Han Fei immediately went all out and used fury. At the same time, he whispered, attach. After fighting with Jiang Qin for half a year, Han Fei deeply understood one thing. A soul warrior should march forward bravely. No matter what kind of enemy there was in front of him, he should not be weak. Han Fei was very powerful. In the blink of an eye, he raised his rod and smashed it at Zhang Xuanyu, who was also attacking him. But at this moment, a fat man suddenly appeared with a huge shield in his hand. Clang! The force behind this blow was not to be underestimated. Dust flew within dozens of meters, but neither the fat man nor Han Fei moved. Han Fei was stunned. His enemy was not this fat man. Behind the fat man, a figure jumped up. 3 layered waves in furious sea. Clang, clang, clang. In an instant, Han Fei seemed to feel a surging tide. In an instant, Han Fei was knocked back 7 or 8 steps. Of course, this was not the end. Han Fei heard the sound of wind breaking behind him. The momentum of breaking the sound barrier made him feel that the opponent seemed to be able to break his defense. In an instant, Han Fei inserted the purple bamboo rod into the ground and lay forward in a strange posture. The rod was directly bent and bounced at the blade coming from behind. Clang! Feeling that the person behind him retreated, Han Fei felt that his feet were entangled by vines again before he could breathe a sigh of relief. Before he had time to look down, Han Fei waved his double knives and chopped the vines, while the 7 tails behind him swept across and continued to break the other vines entangling him. Zhang Xuanyu said, "Not bad. Come on, take my 7-layered waves in furious sea." The rod was played like a flower in Zhang Xuanyu's hand. It was extremely gorgeous, and the tides were undulating. It seemed that waves were really hitting his face. Han Fei seemed to see the phantom of huge waves pouncing at him, layer by layer, surging violently. For a time, Han Fei was surrounded by enemies in front of him, on his sides, and behind him. Blade storm. Han Fei instantly covered his body with a spiritual energy protective cover, and his whole body spun like a top, flashing horrifying blades from all angles. Clang, 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 clang. Bm, bm, bm. For a time, vines flew and knife shadows clashed. On the side, the bearded man pulled the old man and said, "You're already very strong. 5 minutes is too long. It's only 2 minutes." Han Fei was shocked. He thought he was invincible in the same level as him, but who knew that as soon as he came here, he would directly encounter 4 monsters. "You're telling me this is a battle fought by a few junior great fishing masters?" This was simply a battle between peak-level great fishing masters. Han Fei twisted and turned, constantly making strange postures, trying to break through the encirclement of the 4. But just when he was about to break out, the simple and honest fatty suddenly patted his armor box and launched a shield wall impact. Han Fei only saw dozens of giant shield phantoms suddenly appear in front of him and slam at him. Han Fei took a deep breath and suddenly an array appeared under his feet. A rotating waterspout emerged in the air and directly rolled himself into the sky. Then, the waterspout turned into a water-shaped vine and pulled him to the side. Han Fei's face changed. He had used at least 10 combat skills in just 1 minute of the battle. If he was careless, he would be hit. Han Fei felt that he might be able to hold on for a few minutes, but 30 minutes seemed a bit difficult, unless... Shadow Follower. Han Fei had just landed for a moment. Although an idea flashed in his mind, before he had time to act, he saw Xia Shaochan turn into a series of afterimages, extremely fast, and the dagger in her hand stabbed at him from a strange and tricky angle. What was a hunter? Before, Han Fei felt that Fang Qing, whom he met in the resource competition, couldn't be regarded as a hunter at all. Compared with Xia Shaochan, she was simply trash. Scar of War Shadows. Han Fei's body suddenly overflowed with spiritual energy, and he rushed in the direction of the 4 people like a madman. Clank, clank, bam. What great strength! When Han Fei stopped, he had already appeared 10 meters away. And Zhang Xuanyu, the weakest soul warrior, was directly knocked flying. Lu Renkuang muttered, "His defense power is extremely strong. Let me." Violent war body. Han Fei saw that the fatty was charging at him, and he was using a combat skill similar to Scar of War Shadows. How could Han Fei be afraid? You just laughed at me for being fatter. Now I'll show you the difference between a big fatty and a little fatty. Han Fei immediately ran over, and like a missile explosion, the area within a radius of more than 20 meters was directly detonated. Under the huge impact of the airflow, the school gate was completely shattered, and the old man's recliner under the tree also fell apart, leaving a big pit in the place of impact. Lu Renkuang was knocked flying, and for the first time, Han Fei felt what it felt like to have his internal organs tumbling. Was it because his fake innate strength had met the real innate strength? Thorns, strangle, Han Fei was speechless. Is there no end to this? Are these people all so cooperative? Han Fei only saw that within a radius of 4 or 5 meters under his feet, countless vines emerged, and the 7 tails couldn't cut them off at once. Xia Shaochan shouted, "Shadow puncture." Zhang Xuanyu shouted, "Crazy shark, read 2." Chapter 145. Fuse. Han Fei finally said these 2 words. He had underestimated the geniuses in this world. He thought that he could be invincible among his peers, but now it seemed that if he fought with these 4 people, he would definitely be defeated. Although the result of a life-and-death battle was unknown, this was too shocking. The smoke and dust dispersed. Zhang Xuanyu flew back dozens of meters, covering his chest with one hand. Luo Xiaobai's face was slightly pale, and the vines in front of her were scattered. Only Xia Shaochan almost completely turned into a shadow, holding 2 daggers in her hands and slashing at Han Fei's double knives. At this time, there was no cute little loli at all. She was simply a tough female Tyrannosaurus. Han Fei's eyes were black and white, and his attacks were extremely fast. Every time Xia Shaochan moved, every attack and every angle, Han Fei could block her attacks in an incredible angle. For a moment, there was a lot of clanking sounds in the big pit. "Why did you call me little sister? Little sister is not something you can call me. You have a bad eye. How dare you hit me? I'll kill you," Xia Shaochan muttered, muttering every 5 or 6 times, but Han Fei was expressionless. Han Fei, on the other hand, was expressionless. The gentle expression on his face was now wild and cruel. Taking advantage of the gap between attacks, Han Fei grinned, revealing 2 rows of big white teeth, as if he was considering where to bite. Xia Shaochan suddenly disappeared. Han Fei looked down and found that there was a shadow on the ground. Almost in the blink of an eye, he felt that his legs, lower abdomen, and back were slashed more than 10 times. Bam! Han Fei gathered all the spiritual energy in his body and suddenly exploded with himself as the center. But the shadow appeared more than 10 meters away and turned into a human form again. Xia Shaochan raised her double knives again, flashed, and rushed at Han Fei again. Suppress! The bearded man suddenly appeared between the 2 of them. He threw Xia Shaochan away with one hand and slapped Han Fei's spiritual beast fusion with the other. After losing the fusion, Han Fei sat on the ground and gasped for breath. Han Fei swallowed. You are you trying to kill me? Han Fei couldn't catch his breath. Especially in the end, the perfect image of the little loli was completely ruined. Is that a little loli? Are you kidding me? Even the iron headfish is no match for her. What Han Fei didn't know was that not only the 4 students, but also the bearded man and the old man were looking at him up and down with great interest. Lu Renkuang was also gasping. "Brother, you passed the assessment." Although Lu Renkuang was pale, he still rushed over and seemed to want to hug Han Fei. Han Fei remembered that the fat man was the strongest just now. That impact made her internal organs tumble. She didn't want to hug him. Han Fei quickly waved his hand. "Don't come over, I warn you, don't come over." "Yang Fei I don," Lu Renkuang complained, "you are a fatty yourself." "Fei Le." Han Fei was sullen. "Nonsense, I used to be thin, very thin, thin and handsome." Han Fei. Yang Li Fei was, he, yang, li, an, I, Li Fei, I Fei, and I of. Han Fei wondered, what kind of guests? Zhang Xuanyu blinked. To eat. Lu Renkuang nodded. Of course. The new classmate is going to treat us to a meal. After the fight just now, I feel that I have lost weight. Han Fei breathed a sigh of relief. Well, I brought a pot. I know how to cook. Lu Renkuang was shocked. You can cook too? Me too? Lu Renkuang immediately pointed at the crowd. Look, I told you that fat people can cook. Only you thin people can enjoy the fruits of others. Luo Xiaobai snorted, ignored Lu Renkuang, and looked at Han Fei. Hello, new classmate. Han Fei rolled his eyes. I'm not good. My internal organs are tumbling. Xia Shaochan quietly appeared behind Han Fei. Do you want me to rub it for you? Han Fei shivered and broke out in a cold sweat. He quickly got up and ran to Lu Renkuang. Xia Shaochan, I warn you, don't come over. I don't hit girls. Just rub it. Looking at Xia Shaochan's resentful face, Han Fei got goosebumps all over. It would have been fine if they hadn't started fighting, but after this battle, it was clear that she was a killer of appearances. Among the few of them, she was the most terrifying. She could even turn into a shadow. Even Newton couldn't do anything to her. Yo, you have all 5 professions. Han Fei looked up, only to see a middle-aged beautiful woman jump down from the top of the tree and look at Han Fei up and down. The beautiful woman said, Gee, an exotic contractual spiritual beast that even we have never heard of, and that spirit-swallowing fish is also an exotic spiritual beast. She is a spirit gatherer and a soul warrior, and her defense power is comparable to that of the little fatty. Her combat power is a little stronger than Zhang Xuanyu, and her speed can keep up with Shaochan. Old Bai, where did you find this little monster? The old man didn't seem to expect that a guy who came to him would be so strong, which was completely beyond his expectation. But the old man said coldly, She came to me on her own. The bearded man laughed. Good, good, our academy finally recruited 5 people. Congratulations. I think we can go to a restaurant tonight. The old man's face suddenly changed and he glared at the big man. Do you have a lot of money? You want to go to a restaurant? With that, the old man looked at the destroyed environment around and said to Han Fei, The school has been destroyed by you. Forget it, I won't ask you to pay for it. You are already a student of our Thug Academy. Han Fei looked around. It was already shabby enough, but it wasn't that shabby now. The bearded man said helplessly, Forget it, then I'll do it myself. Han Fei, let me introduce to you. This is Dean Bai of our Thug Academy. You can call him Old Bai. I am your instructor, Xiao Zhan, a soul warrior and armorist. My spiritual beast is 8-armed Kong. This is Instructor Wenren Yu, a manipulator and an exotic spiritual plant, sword grass branch. Hello, President. Hello, Mr. Xiao. Hello, Ms. Wenren. Han Fei scratched his belly. Mr. Xiao, where is our dormitory? Cough, cough. Lu Renkuang patted Han Fei on the shoulder. Dormitory? We don't have a dormitory. Han Fei. Han Fei wondered, then where do we live? Lu Renkuang said casually, Anywhere. Such a large area, even the mountain behind it is ours. We can live wherever we want. Zhang Xuanyu also came over and patted Han Fei on the shoulder. You know, our school only has this archway and a library building left. Boom. As soon as Zhang Xuanyu's voice fell, the archway collapsed. Han Fei, Zhang Xuanyu, everyone was silent for a long time. Han Fei thought for a long time. He didn't want to live like a savage in the next few years. Han Fei asked, Why don't you build some houses? Lu Renkuang looked at him as if he were a fool. Building houses costs money. Zhang Xuanyu nodded. How can we have money? Han Fei was helpless. I just paid 5,000 mid-quality pearls as a tuition fee. What? Lu Renkuang's eyes widened, and Zhang Xuanyu looked at Han Fei as if looking at a mid-quality pearl. Xia Shaochan cried out with a wow, and even Luo Xiaobai, who was the coldest, showed a shocked look. Everyone looked at the old man, thinking that this old man was too cruel. 5,000 mid-quality pearls as a tuition fee? How did he do it? Old Bai thought to himself, I didn't ask for it. He gave it to me, okay? Cough cough. I've decided to take out 3,000 to build the school. 3,000 is enough. We can find someone to renovate our school. Han Fei's eyes flickered. This old man is not simple. He's definitely the same as old Jiang, a cunning old fox. He cheated me of my money but didn't even blush. However, if I serve this mysterious old man well, I'll get a lot of benefits. If I hadn't hooked up with old Jiang, would I have achieved what I have now? Would I have become a soul warrior? Han Fei waved his hand. How can 3,000 be enough? I'll personally invest 7,000 mid-quality pearls to make up 10,000. Let's renovate the school. Silence. Old Bai was stunned. The bearded man was stunned. Lu Renkuang and Zhang Xuanyu were also stunned. Old Bai quickly nodded and said, Very good, very good. It's decided. Let's find someone to renovate the school starting from tomorrow. In his heart, Old Bai thought to himself, is this kid stupid? He's definitely a local tycoon. Lu Renkuang hugged Han Fei. Brother, do you still need parts? Zhang Xuanyu patted Han Fei on the shoulder. I can be very sure that you will definitely become my good brother. Brother, how about going out for dinner tonight? Xia Shaochan asked. Little brother, do you want to make a deal with money? Han Fei. Han Fei was stunned. Is this really a good idea? You just wanted to hack me to death, and now you call me little brother? Han Fei took a deep breath. What kind of deal? Han Fei, this straightforward man, actually asked this question. Xia Shaochan replied. If I have something to do, you pay. If you have something to do, don't come to me. You can't hold my hand, we can't date. Han Fei, read 2. Chapter 146. That night, the school was going to hold a banquet for Han Fei, but Old Bai was reluctant to spend money on it. At this moment, at the foot of the mountain, in a temporary kitchen in the woods, Han Fei was cooking in a large pot, and a pearlfish had been cooked. All kinds of seasonings were thrown in one by Han Fei. After a while, the aroma of the hot pot spread for a few kilometers. Lu Renkuang, known as the best chef of the Thug Academy, was following Han Fei's footstep. Wherever Han Fei went, he followed, drooling. Lu Renkuang was like a curious baby. Han Fei, isn't this a yellow ball? It's not delicious. Han Fei smiled. There is nothing that is not delicious in this world, only immature cooking skills. What I'm making now is called sour and spicy potato strip. Xia Shaochan was staring at a plate of little white shrimp, frowning from time to time. Han Fei, this shrimp is alive. Han Fei was now traumatized by Xia Shaochan's cute image, so he replied casually, That's called drunk shrimp. It's just drunk. It'll take a while. Old Bai was furious. Han Fei, isn't it a waste to give shrimp such good wine? How can you waste such excellent wine on these low-level little white shrimps? Han Fei glanced at Old Bai and the bearded man who were carrying wine jars and said helplessly, Hey, give me back my seasonings. There are many more to drink. Old Bai ignored him. I didn't expect low-level spiritual fruits to have such a magical effect. I let them rot in the ground. That's also a seasoning. Only now did Han Fei know that the huge plantation outside also belonged to the Thug Academy. It could be said that the Thug Academy occupied almost 1/3 of this island. He really couldn't figure out why the Blue Sea Town gave them such a large piece of land. This old man was stupid. Why didn't you rent it out? You can make some extra money. Old Bai asked, Wait, why are there so few low-level spiritual fruits? Didn't you dig them outside? Han Fei said grumpily, I brought them from the village myself. Old Bai was surprised. You said you are from the Heavenly Water Village. Do you know the old man in the plantation over there? Seeing Old Bai ask, Han Fei took out old Jiang's message from his pocket. Here. Master Jiang asked me to send you a message. Old Bai took the letter in surprise. As soon as he saw the word "old bastard" on it, he knew that it must be from old Jiang. Old Bai was not angry. Instead, he wondered, why didn't you take this letter out earlier? Han Fei smiled bitterly. Grandpa said I was barely qualified to come to the 4th Academy, so I wanted to see how strong our academy was. Later, when the 4 of them stood in front of me, I didn't dare to take it. Old Bai said leisurely, At least you have some self-awareness. If I had known that it was old Jiang who asked you to come, I would have made you last for at least 100 seconds. Not far away, Wenren Yu, the beautiful middle-aged woman, and Luo Xiaobai, the little iceberg, were staring at the golden prawns, clams, and roasted spiritual fruits on the grill, sniffing from time to time. Han Fei walked over, brushed the oil again, and then smeared another layer of garlic sauce on it. The 2 girls immediately swallowed their saliva. Han Fei turned his head sharply. Xia Shaochan, the drunken prawns are not ready yet. You can eat them later. Xia Shaochan muttered. Oh, as soon as she opened her mouth, a small white prawn jumped out of her mouth. How could this be called not ready? Fatty, turn down the fire. It won't taste good if it's too mushy. Lu Renquang laughed. You are the fatty. I am the thin one now. Han Fei, after a moment, when the hot pot, barbecue, and other dishes were served one by one, Han Fei said, Okay, our first sumptuous dinner is ready. Let's eat. As Han Fei spoke, he found that Lu Renquang and Xia Xiaochan's mouths were already full of oil. Lu Renquang was holding a garlic prawn in his hand and stuffing all kinds of dishes into his mouth. Old Bai and Big Beard Xiao, the 2 of them drank a mouthful of garlic and took a bite of clam meat, eating and drinking with delight. Xia Xiaochan's eyes lit up. It's so delicious. Xiao Bai, let's not ask Lu Renquang to cook anymore. Let Han Fei cook from now on. Zhang Xuanyu smacked his lips and nodded. Yes, they are not on the same level at all. Lu Renquang was not annoyed. I'm learning how to cook. Such delicious food has always been our exclusive skill. Han Fei said with a black face, I repeat, I am not a fatty. My fatness is only temporary. Luo Xiaobai was quite calm. She didn't grab it but just tried it in small bites. It's delicious. No one paid any more attention to Han Fei. Han Fei seemed to have seen a group of gluttons sweeping up all the dishes on the table like a whirlwind sweeping away the clouds. From the beginning to the end, he had only eaten 2 garlic prawns. The good thing was that it only took Han Fei one night to get along well with everyone. Even Luo Xiaobai, the little iceberg, had to smile when she saw Han Fei. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, Old Bai said he was going to sleep and then ran away. Big Beard Xiao Zhan and Wenren Yu also left one after another. Han Fei asked, Where shall we sleep tonight? Zhang Xuanyu said casually, Lu Renquang and I both sleep in caves. Shall we help you dig a cave? Lu Renquang waved his hand. It's okay. We can squeeze in one more. Han Fei, do you want to squeeze in? Han Fei shivered and shook his head. What about the president and the others? Lu Renquang said enviously, The president sleeps in the library. Han Fei looked at Xia Shaochan and the latter said, Xiaobai and I also sleep in caves. Han Fei clicked his tongue. Can I squeeze in? Immediately 2 murderous eyes came at him. Xia Shaochan said with a smile, Little brother, I don't mind. Anyway, you will become our sister the next day. Zhang Xuanyu and Lu Renquang felt their crotches tighten, and they all shut up. However, they secretly gave Han Fei a thumbs up. Dude, you are the coolest man I have ever seen. Han Fei smiled awkwardly. Forget it. I'll build a temporary house myself. Lu Renquang lost interest when he heard that. That's too troublesome. I might as well sleep in a cave. Han Fei glanced around and asked, Can the trees here be cut down? Zhang Xuanyu snapped his fingers. You have the money, so you have the final say. This whole forest is now yours. You can cut down as many trees as you want. Without saying a word, Han Fei went to the side with a knife and cut down a big tree, muttering in his heart, I've finally changed from an ordinary person to a cultivator, but now I have to live in a cave. Isn't I regressing? It's impossible to live in a cave. Don't even think about it, especially with two men. Han Fei raised his hand and chopped his knife again, and pieces of wooden planks appeared in front of everyone. Luo Xiaobai was surprised. Are you really going to build a house? Zhang Xuanyu clicked his tongue. The new student is a bit awesome. You can do everything. Xia Shaochan leaned over. Can you help me build one too? Han Fei responded. Everyone has their limits. Let's sleep in one, okay? Xia Shaochan asked. Then shall we become good sisters? Although you're a little fat, I don't mind. Han Fei carried large pieces of wood and jumped up and down. Only then did everyone realize that this guy was going to build a treehouse? Immediately, everyone was interested. They had slept in trees before, but no one had thought of building a house in a tree. Half an hour later, when a complete treehouse was built by Han Fei and covered with mattresses and quilts, Han Fei also hung a few rubies in it, illuminating the treehouse. No one wanted to go back to the cave. Han Fei sat on the trunk. Why haven't you gone back yet? Xia Xiaochan's eyes lit up. She jumped on the tree and said to Han Fei, I want to experience it. With that, Xia Xiaochan went into the treehouse and rolled around happily for a few times. It's so comfortable. I don't want to go back to Shandong anymore. I'm going to sleep in a tree tonight. Okay, I'm going to bed. Good night. Han Fei hurriedly called out, Hey! No, wait a minute. Didn't you say you wanted to experience it? Why did you sleep in it? Xia Shaochan said slyly, I've experienced it. You're too heavy and this treehouse can't bear you. You need to find a bigger tree. Look, that one is good, thick and big. Okay, I'm going to sleep. Don't disturb me, or I'll let the giant arowana come out and bite you. Han Fei trembled with anger. Xia Shaochan, I've tolerated you for a long time. Okay. I'll help you build another one. I'm doing this for your own good. Fat people should exercise more and try to be as thin as Lu Renquang. That's your goal. Han Fei was speechless. Since when did Lu Renquang become his goal? Half a month later. A large number of school buildings were completed, the archway of the Thug Academy was rebuilt, and the 4 big characters of the Thug Academy were hung up again. Han Fei had been here for half a month. As a result, he became a construction supervisor and had to look at the drawings of the house every day, which gave him a headache. I'm here to cultivate, not to build a house. At this moment, Zhang Xuanyu and the other 3 squatted beside Han Fei, and the 5 of them stared at the library in a daze. Lu Renquang sighed. Why is the library the tallest and most beautiful building in the whole school? Han Fei said leisurely, only in this way can the heritage of a school be reflected. Xia Shaochan held her chin with her hand and sighed. But no one comes to our school. There are only 5 of us in total. Why do those people all go to the other 3 academies? Han Fei's mouth twitched. Don't you know why you go to the other 3 academies? The students live in caves and the president lives in the library. If old Jiang hadn't asked me to come here, I wouldn't have come. At this time, old Bai, Xiao Zhan, and Wenren Yu came out of the library. Xiao Zhan said coldly, Okay, today is your first class. Read 2. Chapter 147. The first class of the Thug Academy began on such an ordinary day. This was destined to be an extraordinary day. No one knew how many heavenly talents would come out of the Thug Academy in the endless years to come. Xiao Zhan, who had just been out of poverty, was totally different from the gentle uncle who sold bull conches in class. Xiao Zhan walked down the stairs step by step and looked at everyone coldly. I know you must be eager to go to class, to go to the fishery, and to pursue the improvement of strength. But I want to ask you a question first. Have any of you ever thought about why you want to become a fishing master? Why do you want to be stronger? Who can tell me? Xiao Zhan's last sentence was roared out, which made the 5 people who were originally still lazing around stunned. Was this still the gentle uncle they knew? Luo Xiaobai was the first to take a step forward. There's no reason to be stronger. You just need to be stronger for the sake of being stronger. Xiao Zhan was noncommittal. Is there any other answer? This is a world where the strong are respected. If you don't want to be bullied, if you want to stand out, and if you want to live the life you want, you have to be stronger. Only in this way will you not be stepped on by others. Xiao Zhan's eyes moved sideways. Xia Xiaochan, what about you? Xia Xiaochan smiled slightly. For freedom. Xiao Zhan snorted coldly. For freedom? Lu Renquang, you're not doing this for food, are you? Lu Renquang smiled embarrassedly. So Xiao Zhan turned his eyes to Han Fei. Han Fei blinked twice. The world is so big. I want to see it. Huh. The others all looked at Han Fei. This reason was so strong that they couldn't find a reason to refute it. Xiao Zhan sneered. You don't know anything. You think you are geniuses, so you are full of pride. You don't even know that you are as small as an ant. But this world is never short of geniuses. Maybe if you leave the Thug Academy now and go to any other academy, you will become one of the top 100, top 10, or even the strongest in the Blue Sea Town in the future. But so what? Even if you become the strongest, you are still an ant. You know nothing about this world. Xiao Zhan was very serious and his voice was full of majesty. He looked at everyone. No matter what you do, first of all, it's because of responsibility. Everyone wanted to be successful in their cultivation and live a carefree life, but who could be carefree? I hope that in the next few years, you will remember the word responsibility. Xiao Zhan pointed at the sky. In the past, the Thug Academy was glorious and dazzling. In the past, the Thug Academy had students everywhere in the 1,000-star city. In the past, the Thug Academy swept through the surrounding 36 towns and defeated all the experts of the same level in the 1,000-star city. In the past, the Thug Academy was a symbol of strength and the cradle of geniuses, but do you know why it declined? Han Fei widened his eyes. What do you mean? The 4th Academy was so powerful? Sweep the 36 towns and break through the 1,000-star city? You must be bragging. Xiao Zhan coldly snorted. In the past, I was as naive as you, and my heart was filled with pride. The Thug Academy is invincible wherever it is. However, when we were strong enough to come into contact with some secrets, those geniuses who were as dazzling as the stars were withering and falling. No one could stop him. We thought we were invincible, but it was a joke. We couldn't even withstand a single blow. Xiao Zhan's voice suddenly became low. At that time, the Thug Academy declined, its geniuses withered, and it was no longer as glorious as it used to be. At that time, I was thinking about a question, that is, why do we have to become fishing masters? Why do we have to fish? What's the point of fishing? Han Fei and the others were very serious at the moment, their faces solemn. What was the secret that made an extremely powerful school decline to this point? Xiao Zhan's eyes were red. The endless sea below you gives you power. You are becoming stronger through this power. But you don't know why you have to become stronger. I will tell you the answer, but not now, but one day, when the 5 of you can sweep the surrounding 36 towns again. Hiss, for the first time, the 5 of them felt a huge pressure. Sweep the 36 towns? Han Fei didn't know until today that there were other towns nearby. He knew that he was strong, but he shouldn't be strong enough to really sweep his peers. Especially when he met Xia Xiaochan and the other 3, he was more and more sure of this. However, now Xiao Zhan gave them a chance. This, in their opinion, was extremely difficult. Sweep the 36 towns? Would such a genius still appear in the town? If they really became such geniuses, The so-called heavenly talents in the city should have nothing to fear, right? After speaking, Xiao Zhan pointed to the library and pointed to all directions of the campus. The Thug Academy recruits students regardless of origin or opportunity. Whether you come from the city or the countryside, even if you are a fish, as long as you dare to come, we dare to teach you. However, the premise is that the Thug Academy has not betrayed us. Otherwise, we will do our best to kill the traitor. Xiao Zhan took out 6 brocade sachets from his arms. He sneered and looked at Han Fei and the others. I have 6 brocade sachets in my hand, and the 6th brocade sachet contains the first secret about this world. And the first 5 are the goals you need to achieve now. If you can't open the first 5 brocade sachets, then don't think about becoming stronger anymore. Because it's meaningless. You will never become a real strong person. Luo Xiaobai stretched out her hand and said solemnly, Teacher, please give us these 5 brocade sachets. Xiao Zhan grinned hideously. You want the brocade sachets? You're not qualified yet. You're not even qualified to get the first brocade sachet. Today's first lesson is to let you understand that you are ignorant, weak, and not qualified to be proud. Everyone. Xiao Zhan turned around and walked up the stairs, while Old Bai walked down slowly at this moment. He glanced at everyone and said, Xiao Zhan has finished. In the next 3 years, to be exact, it should be 4 years, you will be honed for these 6 brocade sachets. When you are qualified to get these 6 brocade sachets, it will be time for you to graduate. At this moment, everyone looked at Xiao Zhan. 4 years to uncover a secret about this world sounded like it was worth it. Inexorably, everyone felt that this secret was worth spending 4 years to obtain. Old Bai smiled. You are all heavenly talents. Let me make a long story short. Do you know why the 5 of you belong to the 5 major professions? Because in thousands of years of history, human beings have fought against the ocean and experienced countless attempts and sacrifices to form such a perfect combination system. In the future, you will be the best companions, and you can trust your back to your companions. So, you must be very familiar with each other, so familiar that there are almost no secrets between you. Of course, everyone has secret. I'm talking about combat skills, spiritual beasts, contractual spiritual beasts, etc. Try not to keep secret. Because that may affect your combat cooperation. With that, Old Bai looked at Xia Shaochan. Xia Shaochan, every time you fight, you basically use the shadow shrimp, but where is your giant arowana? Then, Old Bai looked at Han Fei. Han Fei, you have been trying to hide the secret of your exotic spirit-swallowing fish. When you fight, you only use contractual spiritual beast. But do you know that in history you are not the only one who has the yin-yang divine eyes? Han Fei was shocked. How could he be discovered so quickly? It seemed that the Thug Academy was more confident than he thought. After that, Old Bai scolded Luo Xiaobai. Luo Xiaobai, is that how you use your blue cannibal flower? Have you told them the secret of the blue cannibal flower devouring spirit? Lu Renquang, does everyone know that you have an exotic wild spiritual heritage? Zhang Xuanyu, have you ever shown the bloodthirsty shark soul attack method? The people who were pointed out all changed their faces. All of them had secrets, but they were all pointed out. Their hearts had already been stirred up by a storm. What? Have they all seen through me? At the same time, they also looked at the others. All of them had secrets, all of them had opportunities, and all of them were cunning. Old Bai continued, from today on, within half a month, I won't arrange any learning tasks for you. What you need to do is to get familiar with each other, get familiar with each other's secrets, and get familiar with each other's combat skills. Half a month later, what I want to see is a team with tacit cooperation, a team that you can tell each other what you are going to do with a single thought. Luo Xiaobai nodded. Yes, President. The others all lowered their heads and seemed to be thinking about something. Even Han Fei was shocked. He didn't see through my indestructible body, did he? Ren Tianfei said that if they saw through this thing, they would be doomed. Read 2. Chapter 148. In the grove, the 5 people sat on the grass, staring at each other, not knowing what to say. Zhang Xuanyu smiled awkwardly. It seems that we have no secrets. Then tell me. Lu Renquang asked. Well, you go first? Zhang Xuanyu shrugged. I'm a fishing master and you 4 great fishing masters have more secrets than me. Han Fei was still worried about the indestructible body. He couldn't let his body continue to be so strong. So he said, I'll tell you first. Everyone immediately looked at Han Fei. Han Fei continued, I'll tell you 3 secrets. Zhang Xuanyu's mouth twitched. You grew up surrounded by secrets, right? So many secrets. Lu Renquang looked at Han Fei curiously, her big eyes full of curiosity. Han Fei continued, The first is my spiritual beast, an exotic spirit-swallowing fish. In fact, the president just said that when I fuse with my spiritual beast, my eyes will change and I can see the trajectory of the opponent's moves and attack. Actually, the principal had said earlier that when I fused with him, my eyes would undergo a transformation. I would be able to clearly see my opponent's movements and attack trajectories. But after I fuse with my spiritual beast, my eyes will change, and I can see the trajectory of the opponent's movements and attacks. But after I fuse with my spiritual beast, there will be a flaw, that is, I will be extremely bloodthirsty. When I used this fusion ability for the first time, I bit a person to death. You didn't eat people, did you? Xia Shaochan shivered. She was imagining that scene and she didn't dare to imagine it. Han Fei's face was black. Do I look like I eat people? Xia Shaochan snorted. Who knows? On the day you entered the school, you fused with your spiritual beast and used the yin-yang divine eyes to block my knife technique. At that time, it seemed that you were going to eat me. Han Fei, Luo Xiaobai asked, What's the second secret? Han Fei explained, The second secret is not a secret either. By chance, I obtained a combat skill called the Incomplete Monograph on 108 Ways of Body Polishing. Cultivating this battle skill can seal 108 vital acupoints and 36 death acupoints, preventing spiritual energy from leaking out. It can also strengthen the body. Lu Renquang immediately exclaimed, Oh my God! No wonder you are so strong. After colliding with you that day, I almost couldn't recover until dinner. Han Fei scratched his belly. Actually, the effect of this combat skill may be lower in the future, unless I get the full set of combat skills. Based on the current situation, my body should be able to withstand an attack from a common tier high-grade weapon. In the future, it might become even stronger, but at most, it would only be able to withstand low-grade magic treasures. Everyone was speechless. Using your physical body to block a low-grade magic treasure. What else do you want? You want to go to heaven? Zhang Xuanyu's face darkened. What about the third secret? Han Fei scratched his belly in embarrassment. I used to be thin and handsome. However, it was also a fortuitous encounter that allowed him to obtain a large amount of energy that he couldn't digest and accumulate in his body. As I grow stronger, I'll slowly lose weight and return to the peak of my look. Zhang Xuanyu said disdainfully, Go to hell. Can you be as handsome as me if you slim down? Pretty boy. Zhang Xuanyu flew into a rage. Get lost. My handsome appearance also exudes an incomparably domineering masculinity. Bullsh *T. You're talking to me about masculinity when you're only a teenager? Lu Renquang was shocked. No way. Han Fei, are you going to be skinny in the future? Don't. Won't I be the only one who will be fat? Xia Shaochan said with a black face, Shut up, you 3. Han Fei only has 2 secrets. The third one doesn't count. Quang, it's your turn. What they didn't know was that at this moment, Old Bai was eavesdropping in the grass not far away with Xiao Zhan and Wenren Yu. Wenren Yu asked, Old Bai, is the yin-yang divine eyes so powerful? They can even see the trajectory of the battle? Where did you see them? Old Bai rolled his eyes. I guess. I've seen this talent in ancient books, and the records in ancient books are not detailed. I didn't know it was so powerful. Xiao Zhan asked, what about the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing? What is that? Old Bai explained, yes, but it seems to be a venerable level combat skill. I don't know which venerable it is. But since this kid said he got an opportunity, it must be related to that venerable. Unfortunately, it's only an incomplete monograph. If it were the complete one, his physique would be unimaginable. Xiao Zhan licked his lips. It's really strong. A great fishing master can block a mortal-level high-quality weapon. What if he becomes a dangling fisher? Lu Renquang said, in fact, I don't know much about the wild spiritual heritage. Anyway, when I tested my spiritual heritage, it was yellow with a red tint. My teacher said it was only a level 3 spiritual heritage. Later, I cultivated too fast, so I went to test it again and found that the color of my spiritual heritage had become red with a yellow tint. Later on, after a lot of research, he finally found the wild meridian in an ancient book. It is said that this is a kind of spiritual heritage that can grow and may be comparable to a level 9 spiritual heritage when it grows to its peak. Wow, everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. A level 9 spiritual heritage? How strong must it be? Han Fei also gasped. Wasn't this too shocking? I worked so hard to earn spiritual energy to upgrade. You can upgrade automatically? The heavenly Tao was unfair. But red? Is there black? Why do I see a touch of black? Han Fei asked. Do you still have that ancient book? Everyone immediately looked at Han Fei, who waved his hand and said, I have an authentic yellow spiritual heritage, level 3 spiritual heritage. You only have a level 3 spiritual heritage? Everyone was shocked again. Zhang Xuanyu was speechless. A level 3 spiritual heritage? How can you cultivate so fast? How can I, a level 6 spiritual heritage, show my face? Han Fei was also shocked. How can you have a level 6 spiritual heritage? With such a high level of level 6, why wasn't he brought to the city? Han Fei asked, Quang, what are the characteristics or functions of your wild spiritual heritage? Lu Renquang replied, you can eat. You can't annoy me. If you annoy me, something very serious will happen. How serious? Lu Renquang replied, crazy. It's probably similar to Han Fei's bloodthirsty impulse, but I can hardly control myself. My strength, defense, and combat power have at least doubled. Pu Zhang Xuanyu waved his hand. You guys talk. I want to be alone. Luo Xiaobai said coldly, sit down, it's your turn. Zhang Xuanyu said, I don't have such an exaggerated ability, okay? A level 6 spiritual heritage is neither high nor low, but not as good as a real genius. But my spiritual beast, bloodthirsty shark, can drink other people's bloodline power when fighting. In addition, it can also launch spiritual attacks. If the opponent's spiritual power is very strong, it may not work. Han Fei was speechless. You call this not exaggerated? You can also steal other people's bloodline power. If I were your enemy, I would be the first to kill you. Lu Renquang nodded. Agreed, I will also be the first to kill you. Xia Xiaochan nodded. Agreed. Luo Xiaobai nodded. It's my turn. My spiritual heritage is green. I don't know what kind of exotic spiritual heritage it is, but it should also be a kind of spiritual heritage that can grow. My spiritual beast, the blue cannibal flower, can devour other people's spiritual energy when entangled with the enemy, and will stab into the enemy's skin and spread toxins. In addition, I can perceive the plants within a kilometer around me and let the plants become my eyes. For example, the president and the others are eavesdropping on us. Everyone. Not far away, Old Bai and the other two suddenly blushed. God knows you have this ability. What's wrong with eavesdropping? Is eavesdropping against the law? Wenren Yu was speechless. You are all little monsters. Xiao Zhan grinned. Good. The Thug Academy was also full of monsters. Everyone was speechless. However, it didn't matter that they were eavesdropping. Anyway, he would tell them later, so he might as well tell them now. At this time, everyone looked at Xia Xiaochan. Xia Xiaochan said a little shyly, Han Fei's eyelids twitched. Speak properly. Xia Xiaochan glared at Han Fei angrily. I have a colorless spiritual heritage. Everyone thought I didn't have a spiritual heritage because others can't see it. I don't know whether it can grow or not. As for my ability, it seems to be charm, but I'm not sure, because my ability is more effective on fish, so they won't actively attack me. Everyone gasped. Colorless? Xia Xiaochan nodded a little sadly. This colorless spiritual heritage had caused her a lot of trouble. Zhang Xuanyu sucked in a breath of cold air. No wonder I was immediately attracted by your beauty when I first saw you. I was even beaten up by you. Lu Renkuang blinked. Why wasn't I charmed? Zhang Xuanyu replied, maybe you also have an exotic spiritual heritage. You see, Han Fei and I are the same. When we first saw Xia Xiaochan, we almost drooled. Han Fei argued. Who drooled? Xia Xiaochan stabbed her dagger into the ground. Are you listening or not? Han Fei replied, yes, yes. Han Fei was speechless. She drew her dagger at the slightest provocation. Was she really violent? Xia Xiaochan explained, I have a dual attribute spiritual beast. Everyone has seen the ability of the shadow shrimp, which is shadow pursuit. It can allow me to shuttle like a shadow, so I chose the profession of hunter. As for the giant arowana, I really don't know. I don't know anything except that the giant arowana can roar and bite. When I fused with them, I felt that I would explode. So, the fusion time was very short and I couldn't even last 10 minutes. The eavesdropping trio. Wenren Yu looked at Old Bai. Giant arowana, I haven't heard of it either. Xiao Zhan echoed, I haven't heard of it either. Old Bai looked solemn. I've seen it once. It's very strong, too strong for me to describe. Otherwise, I wouldn't have brought Xia Xiaochan back. Read 2. Chapter 149. When everyone finished, they saw that Han Fei and Zhang Xuanyu were almost hugging each other and shivering. Xia Xiaochan spat. Disgusting. Han Fei snorted. I don't want to talk to 3 people with growth spiritual heritages, all of which are exotic spiritual heritages. Can't you just be normal people? Tell me, are you from the 1,000-star city or somewhere else? Luo Xiaobai shook her head. I don't care. Zhang Xuanyu sighed. Alas. But Fei, you are worse off than me. You only have a level 3 spiritual heritage. Han Fei's brain was working fast. Growth spiritual heritage is a good excuse to cover up the existence of the demon purification pot. So Han Fei said leisurely, actually, I want to say that my spiritual heritage seems to be able to grow. But it needs a huge amount of spiritual energy. F***ck off. Zhang Xuanyu kicked Han Fei away and squatted on the ground drawing circles. Xia Xiaochan was curious. Do you really have a growth spiritual heritage? Han Fei scratched his belly. I don't know. It's possible, right? However, the color of my spirit vein is not as colorful as yours. My spiritual heritage is yellow, the same yellow as normal people. Luo Xiaobai asked, has your spiritual heritage been improved before? Han Fei nodded. Yes. The first time was when I ate the seabed spiritual fruit, and the second time was when I had an opportunity and absorbed a lot of spiritual energy. Han Fei thought to himself, this is not a lie, is it? In the future, if my spiritual heritage is improved, I can explain it. Otherwise, it will be very embarrassing if I don't have an explanation. Suddenly, Zhang Xuanyu said, does this count? Yes. What's wrong? Zhang Xuanyu was speechless. Then it seems that I also have a spiritual heritage. When I just tested it, it was a level 5 spiritual heritage. Han Fei kicked him back. F***ck off. I don't want to talk to you anymore. The faces of the three people in the grass turned green. You've gone too far. Are you showing off to us? Old Bai said leisurely, there is reincarnation. Maybe this is God's will. Otherwise, how could these guys happen to gather in our school during this period? Xiao Zhan said with a straight face, I don't want to see them for the time being. I'm going to sell bull conches on the street. Wenren Yu also stood up and left. I don't want to see them either. I'm going to work at the Linglong Tower. Old Bai. Do I want to see them? After the meeting, Han Fei felt that none of them were simple. Why did they all have growth spiritual heritages? If they were all so powerful, wouldn't they have been taken away by the Thousand-Star City long ago? Han Fei wondered if he should get more information out of him. Han Fei looked around, only to find that Lu Renquang looked rather silly. Han Fei rolled his eyes. Aren't we going to get to know each other? Why don't we have a big meal before then? Otherwise, we might not have time to eat in the next few days. Lu Renquang quickly raised his hand. I agree. Zhang Xuanyu and Xia Shaochan smacked their lips and couldn't resist the temptation of delicious food, so they also nodded. Han Fei smiled. Fatty, let's go to the plantation to pick some fresh, low-level spiritual fruit. Han Fei knew that the other three were not interested. Lu Renquang used to cook, and he was probably the only one who was willing to run a plantation. On the way, Han Fei put his arm around Lu Renquang's shoulder. Hey, Fatty, when did you all enter the school? Lu Renquang immediately patted his chest. According to the time, I was the first to come, and they all lined up behind me. Han Fei was taken aback. You were the first, so when you came, there was no one? Lu Renquang thought for a while and said with a sad face, How miserable! You don't know, when I first came here, I had to bask in the sun and eat low-level spiritual fruits to satisfy my hunger. I was too poor at that time. I don't know why the principal and teachers didn't go to the fishery to make money. I really don't understand. Seeing Lu Renquang sighing, Han Fei asked again, What about the others? Lu Renquang was a talkative guy, so he kept talking all the way. Xiaobai was brought here by Ms. Wenren, which made me happy for a while, but Xiaobai didn't talk and I was bored. But she was really powerful. At that time, I practiced with Xiaobai a lot and was often beaten by her. Han Fei rolled his eyes. She was brought here by Ms. Wenren in person? Then she must be very powerful, right? Lu Renquang sneered. What do you know? Except for you who came to our school by yourself, who else was not brought here by the teachers? I was brought back by the principal personally. At that time, I was competing with people in the village in eating fish. You'll be scared to death if you tell me that I ate 17 fish alone. Maybe the principal passed by and was shocked by my talent, so he brought me here. Han Fei twitched his mouth and was startled. You ate 17 fish? He must have seen something wrong with you, so he brought you back. But Lu Renquang turned his head and smiled. Of course, eating is one thing, but I'm also special in other aspects. Take Zhang Xuanyu for example. He was brought back by Ms. Xiao Zhan from outside the Level 2 fishery. It is said that he drifted from another town to our town alone. Have you seen the 7-layered waves in Furious Sea? He created it himself. What? Han Fei was stunned. He drifted from another town? And he created his own combat skill? Lu Renquang said admiringly, of course. At that time, he was only an intermediate fishing master and created his own 7-layered waves in Furious Sea at sea. Isn't it shocking? Han Fei took a deep breath. Not just shocking. Creating his own combat skill was not something that ordinary people could do. And what was even more terrifying was that this guy actually came from another town. Not to mention how dangerous it was at sea. Could it really be so easy to travel between towns? Lu Renquang looked at Han Fei's surprised face and couldn't help patting him on the shoulder. Don't be surprised. It's nothing. You don't even know Xia Shaochan. Han Fei swallowed. Xia Shaochan also drifted here? Lu Renquang looked at Han Fei speechlessly. How can there be so many people drifting here? Xia Xiaochan was brought back by the principal a month ago, but I'm telling you, don't talk nonsense. With that, Lu Renkuang put his head close to Han Fei's ear. I'm telling you, Xia Xiaochan is sick. Han Fei was stunned and looked at Lu Renkuang strangely. Although she seems to be a little sick, it's not good for us to speak ill of her behind her back, right? Han Fei thought to himself, this fatty is quite honest and straightforward. I didn't expect him to be so cunning. Lu Renkuang was speechless. No, she is really sick. Thinking of Xia Xiaochan's appearance when she chopped people, Han Fei couldn't help but smile. Is it because she has a disease that will kill her if she doesn't chop people? Lu Renkuang looked at Han Fei in surprise. You know? Han Fei, Lu Renkuang whispered, do you know that Xia Xiaochan had a relapse on the first day she came here and almost hacked Zhang Xuanyu to death? Fortunately, Mr. Xiao Zhan helped her. But you won't believe it, but she chased Mr. Xiao Zhan and chopped a whole mountain. Looking at Lu Renkuang's horrified look, Han Fei couldn't help but wonder, really? I'm not well educated, so don't lie to me. Lu Renkuang patted his belly. How can I lie to you? Luo Xiaobai is very nice except that she doesn't talk much and is a little fierce. Zhang Xuanyu is even easier to talk to. We used to sleep in the same cave. Only Xia Xiaochan, once I saw her body glowing red, and she was so fierce that I was almost scared to death. Fortunately, the president suppressed her in time. Han Fei's eyelids twitched. Really? Lu Renkuang laughed. The president told me that there was an unstable power in Xia Xiaochan's body, so she needed to vent it out. In fact, she is quite a good person. Last time she almost hacked Zhang Xuanyu to death, and then she cried alone. Hey, it's even better that you're here. When Xia Xiaochan needed to vent that power, she would hack me. Your physique is stronger than mine, so I'll leave it to you. Han Fei was dumbfounded. What? What if she hacked me to death? Lu Renkuang nodded. Don't worry, she won't. She knows what to do. As long as she releases that strange power through fighting, she will be fine. You see, she only had a relapse in the first 2 days, but since she hacked me every day, she has been fine. Han Fei, read 2. Chapter 150. The more Han Fei thought about it, the more horrified he was. Did I come here to be a meat shield? But if he thought about it deeply, didn't it mean that Xia Xiaochan had been growing up in this abyss of suffering since she was a child? However, having said that, Han Fei was still a little speechless. During the entrance assessment, he knew that Xia Xiaochan's combat ability was definitely the strongest among all of them. Even after he fused with her, he was only on par with her. In order to prevent himself from following in Zhang Xuanyu's footsteps one day, it seemed that he had to continue refining his body. On the table, before the hot pot began to cook, Xia Xiaochan came back with a 2-meter-long bull conch. Zhang Xuanyu exclaimed, Oh! Xia Xiaochan, did you steal teacher Xiao Zhan's bull conch? Xia Xiaochan smiled slyly. Anyway, he doesn't sell it now. Let's eat bull conch hot pot tonight. Han Fei glanced at Xia Xiaochan strangely and pretended to be nonchalant. This thing is not easy to cook. The meat is not easy to rot. Xia Xiaochan snorted. As long as the fire is big, it can be cooked. With that, she waved her dagger and in the midst of sparks, the bull conch shell was cut into pieces. She raised her dagger and a huge piece of bull conch meat was cut into hundreds of pieces in the blink of an eye, falling into the big pot one after another. Han Fei looked at the big pot that was stuffed with meat and said in a daze, It seems that we have to change to a bigger pot in the future. Lu Renkuang nodded in agreement. Yes, it's not enough every time. Luo Xiaobai said lightly, The higher the level of cultivation, the more energy you need, so it's normal for you to eat more. Han Fei asked, Can't we just absorb spiritual energy without eating? Xia Xiaochan stirred the soup in the pot and smiled faintly. Spiritual energy is spiritual energy, but there are many things that spiritual energy can't replace, at least not now. So you still have to eat so that you can cultivate faster than others. How could Han Fei know this? He simply thought that spiritual energy was everything and eating was just for the sake of his appetite. Was he wrong? Han Fei couldn't help but smile. Yes, people can't eat rice. This truth must be followed wherever you go. At the table, everyone was eating heartily. Luo Xiaobai said, "Since we've already told each other our secrets, we should get familiar with each other's combat skills. Han Fei, the four of us came earlier than you, and only Xiaochan arrived a month ago. Now that I thought about it, we were actually quite familiar with each other. We only needed to familiarize ourselves with the abilities that we hadn't displayed yet. However, you've just arrived, so you haven't used many of your abilities and combat skills yet. You need to let us experience them." Han Fei nodded and then asked, "Did we forget something? Doesn't a team need to have a name?" Lu Renkuang added, "Yes, should we have a name? We're a team. We have to come up with a better name. How about the Madman Battle Team?" Zhang Xuanyu said disdainfully, "It's scary to be uneducated. Aren't you old-fashioned? They should be called Mystical Battle Squad." Xia Xiaochan suddenly had an idea. "Secret team, we all have secret." Zhang Xuanyu was speechless. Since the secret had already been revealed, how could he keep it a secret? Or the Thug Squad. It's the name of our school. Han Fei nodded. Thug is okay, but it's a bit old-fashioned. How about Thug Legend? We'll become the legend of the Blue Sea Town in the future. Zhang Xuanyu raised his hand and slapped Han Fei. "Here's a word for you, smart." Xia Xiaochan was a little disgusted. "Vulgar." Lu Renkuang said indifferently, "Hey, but this name is good. Thug Legend, when I first came in, I thought it was full of thugs. I was scared to death." Zhang Xuanyu chuckled. "I don't think it matters whether they are thugs or not. The word legend is very coquettish." Luo Xiaobai suggested, "Raise your hands." All of a sudden, the three boys raised their hands. Xia Xiaochan picked up a dagger. "Quang Quang, you're getting bolder and bolder. Believe it or not, I'll kill you." While laughing, they casually decided on the name of the team. For this reason, in the countless years that followed, they often quarreled about this matter. In the end, they all put the blame on Han Fei. Since everyone was talking about it openly, the relationship between everyone inexplicably became a little closer. In the next half-month, each of them would be beaten by the other four with various combat skills and spiritual beasts. One day after half a month. Today, it was Han Fei's turn to be beaten again. At this moment, in the huge field at the foot of the mountain, dust was flying. Lu Renkuang was indignant. "This is too much. This guy's defense is too strong." Zhang Xuanyu attacked with his long rod. Blood Qi burn. After Zhang Xuanyu used this damn power, Han Fei only felt that his whole body was extremely hot and his blood was almost boiling. He could feel that every time he was attacked, his blood would be lost. Han Fei said with a black face, "Zhang Xuanyu, just wait. When it's your turn, I'll definitely beat you to the ground." Xia Xiaochan shouted. Shadow explosion. On the ground and in the air, there were shadows everywhere. Countless Xia Zioacans appeared, and the sky was full of daggers and knife lights. Clang, clang, clang. The water shield under Han Fei's feet was directly smashed, and he waved the purple bamboo rod like the wind, but he was still stabbed dozens of times by Xia Xiaochan. Yes, stabbing. Before, Xia Xiaochan was afraid of hurting Han Fei, so she just chopped. Later, she found that Han Fei's defense was amazing, so she changed from chopping to stabbing. Fortunately, his defense was strong. If it were others, they would have been stabbed. Until now, all the wounds on Han Fei's body were stabbed by this girl. As for dealing with others, Xia Xiaochan usually didn't use her full strength. Even Lu Renkuang, a fatty, couldn't withstand Xia Xiaochan's storm-like explosive attack. Han Fei seized the opportunity and suddenly stabbed at Zhang Xuanyu with his rod. The latter's face changed slightly. However, when Zhang Xuanyu saw a vine wrap around him, the corners of his mouth immediately raised into a smile. You can't hit me. Han Fei was annoyed. But now he understood. Why did the manipulator have to be killed first in a team? This kind of character was simply abnormal. As long as he couldn't be killed, he could remotely support any teammate at any time. Waterfall, Han Fei deliberately let Lu Renquang knock him away and used the water control technique in the air, and a water mist directly surged towards Luo Xiaobai. Flower bloom. A big mouth suddenly appeared under Luo Xiaobai's feet, and a huge man-eating flower swallowed her and then closed its mouth. Han Fei muttered, "You can't stop it, haha." Flying in the sky, Han Fei's face suddenly changed. When did Xia Shaochan already squat on his stomach? Damn, it's cold. Immediately afterward, Han Fei was beaten to the ground. The four of them seized the opportunity and came up to beat him up. After a moment, Han Fei said gloomily, "Don't hit my face. Xia Shaochan, you're too much. I've never hit your face." Xia Shaochan pretended to be weak. "Little brother, can you bear to hit my face?" Han Fei waved his hand. He had enough of her charm. "Xia Shaochan, if you do this again, I'll kiss you." Xia Shaochan's face changed. "Have you asked for the knife in my hand? Believe it or not, I'll stab you to death." While everyone was lying on the ground to rest, they saw Xiao Zhan emerge from the forest without them noticing. He looked at the panting people and said blankly, "I'll give you a moment to rest. As long as you can hold on for half an hour, you can get the first brocade sachet." Everyone's eyes lit up. "Is the first brocade sachet finally here?" Lu Renquang asked. "Teacher, will you lower your strength?" Xiao Zhan grinned. "Dangling fisher, everyone." Zhang Xuanyu shouted, "No. Teacher, we haven't become great fishing masters yet." Xiao Zhan grinned. "Then do you want to go to the fishery? Do you want to go fishing? Do you want to catch contractual spiritual beasts? Do you want to go treasure hunting? If you want to, try to hold on. By the way, I'll stand still." Read 2. Chapter 151. Xiao Zhan's words fiercely provoked the 5 people present. 5 people, including a peak-level fishing master, were going to defeat a dangling fisher? Luo Xiaobai said without hesitation, "Okay." Xia Xiaochan's eyes lit up. "Great, I want to try it too." Han Fei was also looking forward to it. What did a dangling fisher look like? Only Lu Renquang muttered, "I'm an armorist. It's up to you to fight." Everyone. Tisk Wenren Yu looked at Old Bai beside her and said, "After reaching a certain level of strength, the number of people doesn't mean anything, right?" Old Bai scoffed, "You haven't experienced the battle that year. What's wrong with the level gap? They have all 5 professions. Not to mention 30 minutes, they should be able to kill a dangling fisher." Wenren Yu frowned. "I didn't experience the battle that year, but I haven't seen many junior great fishing masters defeat fishers." In the field, the 5 of them lined up in a row. Luo Xiaobai announced, "Start." Everyone was used to Luo Xiaobai's decisiveness. At this moment, when she shouted for the battle to start, it meant that the battle had begun. Fuse. Attach. Although Han Fei now had a little control over the fusion of the twin yin-yang spirit swallowing fishes, it was not enough, so if he fused them at the beginning, it might ruin the whole thing. Luo Xiaobai shouted, "Bind." Countless vines shot out from all directions, directly binding Xiao Zhan's limbs, waist, and neck. Luo Xiaobai muttered, "Spirit devouring." Xia Shaochan shouted, "Shadow kill." Lu Renquang shouted, "Storm of knives and swords." 7 layered waves in furious sea. 7-star chain. In an instant, the 5 of them attacked at the same time. Luo Xiaobai's vines, Han Fei's chains, and Lu Renquang's swords and knives flew out of his armor box. Xia Shaochan had already appeared behind Xiao Zhan and stabbed her daggers at Xiao Zhan's neck. Zhang Xuanyu's frontal attack also arrived in an instant. In the blink of an eye, Xiao Zhan was surrounded by colorful battle technique. Humph bang! Xiao Zhan's body suddenly emitted a strong burst of spiritual energy with him as the center. With just one impact, Zhang Xuanyu and Xia Shaochan were blown away. Lu Renkuang's weapons clattered, but none of them could break through Xiao Zhan's spiritual energy protective cover. Han Fei and Lu Renkuang looked at each other. Crash. This was a combo combat skill developed by Han Fei and Lu Renkuang. Both of them possessed astonishing strength, and when they attacked at the same time with all their might, it was no less than a small mountain pressing down. Bang! Spiritual energy surged out of Xiao Zhan's fists, and he punched at the two figures, but Lu Renkuang flew 7 or 8 meters away, and was caught by a vine. At that moment, Han Fei activated a spiritual energy protective cover and punched Xiao Zhan's knee with the purple bamboo rod when he was about to fly out. Xiao Zhan's left leg was slightly bent, and his spiritual energy protective cover was smashed. Han Fei also flew, but he didn't fly out. Han Fei stepped on the air and stabbed the 2 knives on his waist at Xiao Zhan's chest. At the same time, he shouted, "Spiral strike!" Taking advantage of the moment when Xiao Zhan's spiritual energy protective cover disappeared, Xia Shaochan turned into a shadow, circled to Xiao Zhan's left, and stabbed at Xiao Zhan's armpit. The sharp blade was visible to the naked eye. Zhang Xuanyu shouted, "Blood qi burn! Soul explosion!" Luo Xiaobai shouted, "Ghost whip!" At the same time, when they were repelled for the first time, they immediately started the second round of bombardment, and no one fell. Xiao Zhan roared, "Armor!" A phantom armor appeared on his body, and then he punched at Xia Xiaochan's dagger and blocked Han Fei's 2 daggers with his other fist. But at this time, Han Fei had arrived and hit Xiao Zhan in the middle of his ribs with a solid spiral strike. At the same time, a huge vine whipped at Xiao Zhan's left leg, and everyone shouted in unison, "Fatty, give him a fatal blow." Lu Renkuang patted the box with one hand, and a strange knife light pierced through the air in the blink of an eye, stabbing at Xiao Zhan's lower abdomen. Gotcha! The phantom armor was broken, and so was the spiritual energy protective cover. Xiao Zhan limped, but his hands didn't stop moving. He grabbed Han Fei's rod with one hand and Xia Xiaochan's hand with the other, throwing them away at the same time. The only thing that made Xiao Zhan a little dizzy was that his mind was attacked by Zhang Xuanyu. He could deal with attacks from all directions, but he couldn't deal with soul attacks, so he could only take them head-on. After half an hour, Lu Renkuang was the first one who couldn't take it anymore. His armor combat skills consumed too much energy. Even if Han Fei gave him enough spiritual energy, his face was already pale. Zhang Xuanyu was slapped away by Xiao Zhan and lay on the ground like a corpse. Han Fei chuckled, "You two are not loyal." Xia Shaochan, Blade Storm. With 2 knives in their hands, Han Fei and Xia Shaochan attacked at the same time. Xiao Zhan was surrounded by knife light, and his attacks were clanking. Relatively speaking, Xia Shaochan, as a hunter, was more violent when she attacked. She left many white marks on Xiao Zhan's body and even cut his skin. Han Fei, on the other hand, slashed at Xiao Zhan many times, but failed to cut his skin. Xiao Zhan asked, "Are you done?" "It's my turn." Xiao Zhan roared fiercely and opened his own armor box not far away. The sky was also full of knives and swords, and for a moment, no one could intervene at all. Luo Xiaobai's vines were shattered in an instant, and she didn't even have a chance to approach. This state lasted for nearly 30 seconds, and Han Fei helplessly found that most of his clothes were torn. Xia Shaochan vomited a mouthful of blood and retreated. She didn't have Han Fei's abnormal defense power. Luo Xiaobai said, "Han Fei, it's time." Han Fei's face sank. Fuse. When the yin-yang divine eyes appeared, Han Fei immediately put on a hideous look and chuckled. So, everyone only saw Han Fei and Xiao Zhan fighting head-on, and the two of them were extremely fast. But everyone also found that Xiao Zhan's knife couldn't hit Han Fei. Han Fei dodged it every time. In the distance, Old Bai narrowed his eyes. From now on, forbid him from using the yin-yang divine eyes. Wenren Yu nodded. He's too monstrous. I'm just afraid that some people will covet him. Well, I can't be recognized by others for the time being. He's still too weak now. It's not good to expose himself too early. Wenren Yu nodded. Does this count as a pass? Old Bai replied, I guess so. In terms of combat, we cooperate well. However, the use of his spiritual beast and contractual spiritual beast is extremely poor. Hey Han Fei, time's up, Lu Renquang called from the side. Xia Shaochan stroked her hair and said, It's useless to call him now. We have to wait until he has had enough. Zhang Xuanyu got up from the ground and sighed. This Yinyang Divine Eyes is really powerful. I don't think I can beat this guy alone. Luo Xiaobai said, Let me. With that, dozens of vines shot at Han Fei. However, Han Fei just twisted his body a few times, and with a few cold flashes, the vines all broke and fell to the ground. Zhang Xuanyu clicked his tongue. What did I say? You can't even touch him. Xia Shaochan put away her dagger and no longer paid attention to him. Okay. What shall we eat today? How about hot pot? Lu Renquang nodded. I agree. And barbecue. Zhang Xuanyu chuckled. Have you ever not eaten? Xia Shaochan added. I'm going to the plantation to pick spiritual fruits. Lu Renquang quickly caught up with her. I'll go with you. Half an hour later, Xia Shaochan and Lu Renquang came back with a big bag, only to find that Han Fei was lying on the ground, looking at them with his head tilted. You two have no conscience. I was fighting over there and you went to pick vegetables? Xia Shaochan said indifferently, No one asked you to continue fighting. Look, you can't even control your spiritual beast. How can you blame us? Han Fei, Xia Shaochan asked, Where is the brocade sachet? Luo Xiaobai raised her hand. Xia Shaochan quickly ran over and grabbed the brocade sachet, reading, Blue Sea Arena 100 game winning streak. Luo Xiaobai said lightly, I heard that since the opening of the Blue Sea Arena, there have only been 2 100 game winning streaks. The last time was 30 years ago, and it was our Thug Academy who broke the record. Zhang Xuanyu sat on the tree trunk and sighed. The teacher said that this is the simplest of the 6 brocade sachets. If you want to go to the fishery, finish this first. Read 2. Chapter 152. When they were eating hot pot, Xiao Zhan, Old Bai, and Luo Shaochan appeared and smelled the hot pot. Lu Renquang asked, President, when are we going to the arena? Old Bai took a sip of wine and said, Whatever. Go to the library first and find a backup combat skill to learn. Lu Renquang asked, Backup combat skill? Xiao Zhan picked up a large piece of meat and put it into his mouth. Everyone can't completely expose their trump cards. Han Fei's Yinyang Divine Eyes are banned. Go choose a trump card combat skill. Xia Shaochan was surprised. In our library? We don't have any trump card combat skills. I've read them all. Old Bai asked, Have you turned over the floor? Everyone. They were speechless. Isn't this a library? Why do you hide all the good books under the floor? Who the hell would turn over the floor? Xia Shaochan got up. I'm full. Luo Xiaobai also got up. I'm full too. Even Lu Renquang, a carnivore, just grabbed a few big prawns and stood up. I've been on a diet recently. Zhang Xuanyu wiped his mouth and got up. President teacher, take your time. Slurp, Han Fei unhurriedly sucked the drunken prawns and then continued to fish mushrooms from the hot pot. Old Bai glanced at him. Why don't you go? Anyway, the books won't run away. It doesn't matter if I go earlier or later. Hey, Mr. Xiao, what are you doing? Xiao Zhan picked up Han Fei and threw him out, snorting. You should lose weight. Han Fei was speechless. I've lost a little weight recently. Han Fei patted his butt and walked unhurriedly to the library, muttering that he hadn't eaten yet. Xiao Zhan smiled. I don't know how they will react when they see it. Wenren Yu thought for a while. Anyway, I was shocked at the beginning. Old Bai urged, Come on. We won't be able to eat it for the next few days. When Han Fei arrived at the library, he didn't see anyone. Then he found an underground entrance behind a bookshelf. No wonder the old man insisted on building a new one on the old site of the library. It turned out that there were still secrets in it. When Han Fei walked in, he found that the four of them were in a daze. When he walked in, Han Fei was also a little stunned. There were countless memorial tablets hanging on the wall, and there was a small pit next to each tablet. Lu Renkuang gasped. Then, how many people died? Zhang Xuanyu swallowed his saliva. Too many to count. Luo Xiaobai took a deep breath. So, they left their battle techniques? Xia Xiaochan narrowed her eyes. I just want to know what happened back then. Why did so many people die? Han Fei stepped forward, took out a fish skin map from a small pit, and read, Wang Yu, peak-level hidden fisher, exotic spiritual beast, king crab, fought 382 times in his life, won 381 times, and drew once. Ultimate spirit retention rank battle skill, monarch scissors. Hiss, gulp, Han Fei swallowed. A peak-level hidden fisher at that. Wouldn't he be even stronger than Fang Zhe? He had never been defeated in his life, but he died? On the other side, Xia Xiaochan also picked up a fish skin map and read, Chen Yu Junior Law Enforcer, exotic spiritual beast, red flame dragon horse, once killed an advanced explorer with double knives. Demon-level mid-quality battle skill, blood drinking knife. At this moment, the five of them were deeply shocked. They didn't know what a law enforcer was, but they thought it must be stronger than a hidden fisher. Besides, this person could even fight above her level. How extraordinary! The cultivation methods they cultivated were also very unusual. Han Fei only knew mortal level and mystic level, but there were spirit level and demon level ones here. Luo Xiaobai was stunned. There must be a big secret here. Zhang Xuanyu said with difficulty, I know, but I suddenly feel that we are so weak. Luo Xiaobai said, I'm afraid it's useless for us to know such a secret. Let's find the combat skills. Don't be greedy. Everyone nodded. This was a shrine and also a treasure house. If this treasure house was known to the outside world, the whole outside world would go crazy for it. They didn't delay and looked through the holes one by one. Han Fei didn't hesitate and looked through them one by one. He directly used the method of elimination. He eliminated physical training methods and combat techniques that girls practiced. He mainly focused on saber combat techniques and concealed weapons. The secret method spirit explosion technique. Detonate blood and spiritual energy to double your combat power, which lasts for half an hour. The demon-level high-quality combat skill 1000-star slash, a spirit gatherer combat skill that draws spiritual energy from heaven and earth into the blade. When mastered, it can cut mountains and destroy cities. The heaven-level combat skill God-slaying fist. They had just read dozens of books and Xia Xiaochan shouted, Wait a minute. Lu Renkuang immediately stepped back. I'm so scared. I want to choose every one of them. They're so strong. Every one of them is so strong. Zhang Xuanyu echoed, Me too. Han Fei nodded. Yes, I'm dazzled. Luo Xiaobai said, Don't choose randomly. Every combat skill is very attractive. But we're using them to save our lives, so we must choose the most suitable one. Everyone nodded and then continued to read. 1 book, 2 books, 10 books. Although Han Fei had been tempted, he still chose every one of them in the end. Heaven-level combat skill War God Bow, an 8-bow combat skill. When 8 arrows are shot, the enemy will die. It's said that this bow skill has a 9th arrow, and when the arrow is shot, the soul will be destroyed. For some reason, Han Fei was directly attracted by this combat skill. He had always wanted to practice a kind of bow skill, but he never had a chance. What attracted him this time was that this war god bow had the ability to shatter the enemy's soul. This was very strong. He couldn't help but be tempted. It must be noted that Zhang Xuanyu relied on soul attacks to surpass countless geniuses. Okay, Han Fei began to read. After a while, Han Fei saw the data change. War God Bow, Heaven Level, Mid-Quality Remarks. The best bow skill in the Thousand-Star City 3,000 years ago. The 9th arrow is shot and no one can block it. This combat skill is infinitely close to high quality. Deduced Art. War Soul Art Degree of Completion. 0100000. Seeing 100,000 points of spiritual energy, Han Fei breathed a sigh of relief. This number was beyond his expectation. How could it be so low? But different from before, he didn't know what he could deduce, but this combat skill directly showed him the result. Xia Xiaochan tilted her head. Han Fei, have you chosen? Oh, not yet. With that, Han Fei put down the war god Bao and continued to search. Suddenly, Lu Renquang shouted, I found it. It's this armor art. Awesome. Continue to choose. Zhang Xuanyu nodded. I also found it. The mystic killing rod is very suitable for me. The other three were still rummaging. After a while, Xia Xiaochan suddenly said, I found one, but it's not enough. I need to find another one. Don't be greedy. Xia Xiaochan nodded. I know. Han Fei flipped through the books one by one. Finally, when he found a knife skill, he was tempted. The demon-level combat skill million knife art? This was a knife control technique. In theory, he could control as many knives as he had. Perhaps for others this was difficult. Who had the time to collect so many knives? And the quality of each knife was different. If he encountered a powerful enemy, this combat skill might not necessarily work, such as Han Fei, who had a super strong defense. But Han Fei was not an ordinary person. He could refine weapons. He just needed to spend spiritual energy and materials. Although neither the war god Bao nor the million knife art were life-saving combat skills, his biggest life-saving method was the demon purification pot. If he hid in the demon purification pot, who could kill him? I've also chosen. The million knife art is more suitable for me. Xia Xiaochan was surprised. I've read that book, but the requirements are too high. I need a lot of knives, and they must be at least of the quality of magic weapons. Otherwise, it's useless to fight against dangling fishers. Han Fei exclaimed, I'm rich. Everyone. Zhang Xuanyu chuckled. Oh, I forgot that this guy is a rich guy. Xia Xiaochan's face was all black. So what if he's rich? But, it seems, it's really amazing. Han Fei was about to leave when he glanced around and suddenly found a spirit-level combat skill war body technique next to the million knife art. Han Fei shouldn't have paid attention to this book. After searching around, they found that most of the spirit-level combat skills were spirit-level combat skills, followed by demon-level combat skills and heaven-level combat skills. Therefore, they didn't pay much attention to spirit-level combat skills, but Han Fei was different. He thought of the mystic body technique. He vaguely remembered that the mystic body technique was only a mortal-level high-quality body cultivation method, which was deduced by him and turned into the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing. What a coincidence, right? Han Fei reached out to the war body technique, opened it, and had a strange look on his face. War body technique, a body tempering technique. Temper the acupoints all over the body with pure spiritual energy, build a spirit-absorbing body, and continuously absorb spiritual energy from the void in battle. Yes, this is it. Read 2. Chapter 153. Han Fei was excited. Like the indestructible body art, the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing was both a body-refining technique and a combat skill. After all, the 108 movements brought far more benefits to Han Fei than body refining itself. Han Fei quickly read the war body technique, and after a while, the data appeared. War body technique, incomplete, spirit level, remarks body tempering technique. Temper the acupoints all over the body with pure spiritual energy, build a spirit-absorbing war body, and continuously absorb spiritual energy from the void in battle. Disadvantages: lack of physical combat skills, can't last long. Deduce technique. Spirit-absorbing war body degree of completion, 050000. Han Fei said with a smile. Okay, I've made my choice. Have you made your choice? Luo Xiaobai raised a combat skill in her hand and said, Spiritual energy wedding dress, you can put on a layer of spiritual energy battlesuit. Han Fei said, Luo Xiaobai, we're looking for a life-saving combat skill. Luo Xiaobai raised another one. Death substitute, you can swap bodies with spiritual plants and let spiritual plants die for you. Zhang Xuanyu was shocked. What kind of combat skills are these? Can I learn them? Luo Xiaobai muttered, no. Xia Shaochan was still rummaging. After a while, she came out with 2 books and waved them. Supreme Stab, Stealth Kill, 2 assassination combat skills. When they came out of the library, Luo Xiaobai blocked the place with bookshelves. Everyone agreed. Few battle techniques in the Blue Sea town could match those in the book. With so many combat skills displayed here, wouldn't the Thug Academy be destroyed if others knew about it? Outside the door, Xiao Zhan was standing at the door. He glanced at Han Fei strangely. Han Fei, someone is looking for you. Han Fei. At the gate of the Thug Academy, Xia Shaochan and the others followed them curiously. Lu Renquang immediately shouted, Another fatty. There are so many fatties in this world. They were none other than Li Gan and Li Gang. As soon as Li Gang saw Han Fei, he immediately shouted, Young master, Li Gan replied, Greetings, leader. Han Fei was surprised. Why are you here? Li Gang smiled flatteringly. Young master, I was afraid that you wouldn't have enough money in the town and would starve. As a matter of fact, I asked Li Gan to personally come with me to bring you some pocket money. Xia Shaochan stared at the 3 big boxes and was stunned. Wow! Zhang Xuanyu's rod fell to the ground with a clatter. Wow! Han Fei rolled his eyes at them and then looked at Li Gang. How much? Li Gang clapped his hands and saw someone carrying 3 large boxes into the school. Li Gang smiled obsequiously. Young master, the village's business is good. Here are 30,000 mid-quality pearls. Is it enough? Hiss! Lu Renquang fell to the ground. When they saw Han Fei, they didn't see him as a brother at all, but as a huge pearl. In the distance, there seemed to be the sound of something heavy falling to the ground. Xiao Zhan, who was about to pick up the basket and go out to sell the bull snails, had a dark expression on his face. How much? Xia Shaochan pretended to be shy. Little brother, do you want to make a deal with money? Zhang Xuanyu said earnestly, Fei, our food expenses are not small now. When Li Gang saw Han Fei's classmates, he couldn't help but despise them in his heart. You want to freeload my young master's money? Han Fei shivered and then kicked Zhang Xuanyu speechlessly. When you become a great fishing master tomorrow, I'll treat you to a meal. Zhang Xuanyu patted his chest. Soon. How can I let the 4 of you keep suppressing me? Li Gang was shocked. What did he mean? There seemed to be a lot of information in this sentence. Did he mean that the people in front of him were all great fishing masters except for Zhang Xuanyu? Han Fei patted Li Gang on the shoulder. Let's see if we can exchange them for high-quality pearls next time. It's not easy for me to carry so many mid-quality pearls. Lu Renquang and the others said, I'll help you carry them. Han Fei didn't care. It was very troublesome to carry the money. Li Gang took Han Fei to the side and said, Young master, we've discussed it. It seems that the spending power of the village is limited. Shall we go to the Blue Sea town? Han Fei frowned. Oh, you're willing to come out? Li Gang chuckled. Of course, as long as you have money you can come. When I came here just now I saw this large plantation outside. It's dozens of times larger than the one in our village. Young master, can you handle it? Han Fei chuckled. You're ambitious. I'll go ask. Before Han Fei turned around, he saw Old Bai walking out of the school valiantly and energetically. He looked at Han Fei seriously. Can plantations make money? Han Fei scratched his belly. Yes. I made my fortune on old Zhang's plantation in the Heavenly Water Village. Smack, old Bai slapped Han Fei on the shoulder, numbing half of his body. Why didn't you say so earlier? The plantation was almost overgrown with weeds. Hurry up, let your people come over and deal with it. As for the money, the school will give you 20%. Han Fei's face turned black. President, you're too greedy. I have to provide manpower, rent shops, and recruit people, and you only give me 20%? Old Bai also seemed to realize that he had gone too far and tentatively asked, 30%? Han Fei was helpless. 60%, 60% for me and 40% for you. Old Bai's eyes widened. What? Old Bai said angrily, this is my plantation. Old Bai's words stunned everyone present. Didn't you just say it was a weed garden? Han Fei said slyly, then you'll make even more money. How about this, I'll give another 10% to the four of them. Zhang Xuanyu raised his hand. I agree. Old Bai rolled his eyes at Zhang Xuanyu. It's none of your business. Xia Xiaochan also said slyly, Grandpa President, think about it. How can the people from their village gain a foothold in the town? Do you have to support them when something goes wrong? Give us 10%. We'll take care of them, and you just have to wait to collect the money. Han Fei glanced at Xia Xiaochan. She's so sensible. He struck while the iron was hot. 60%. You'll make a profit. 70,000 mid-quality pearls a month. You can squander it. Old Bai's eyebrows twitched. He was shocked by this number. 70,000 to 80,000 mid-quality spiritual beads? Damn, this is a bit much. Old Bai pondered for a while. Okay. But the plantation school won't take care of it. You can take care of it yourself. Han Fei secretly cursed the old man for taking 40% of the profits for free. Fortunately, he took Xia Xiaochan and the others with him. Otherwise, who would take care of it? It was impossible to count on old Bai. Okay, just wait for the Thug Academy to become the richest of the four major academies. After saying that, old Bai left. When passing by Xiao Zhan asked, Old Bai, do I not need to sell bull conches? Old Bai sneered. Nonsense, you are a teacher of the Thug Academy. Do you need to sell bull conches? Wenren Yu asked, Old Bai, do I not need to go to work in the Linglong Tower? Old Bai said matter-of-factly, Of course, you can take 2 baskets of mid-quality pearls and go shopping in the Linglong Tower. Wenren Yu smiled. Vanity. Old Bai sighed. I've been poor for 30 years. Can't I recruit a rich student? Back then, not to mention 70,000 mid-quality pearls, even 70,000 to 80,000 high-quality pearls were just a drop in the bucket. Wenren Yu chuckled. Keep bragging. Sometimes I'm so hungry that I don't have food to eat, so I just bask in the sun. Han Fei turned to Li Gang and said, Did you see that? The headquarters of the fish dragons will be located in the Blue Sea town. At that time, if someone finds fault with us, you can find anyone from the Thug Academy. Lu Renquang clapped his hands. Yes. If someone dares to find fault with us, you can find me. Zhang Xuanyu stamped his feet. Yes, I'll go with Fatty. Luo Xiaobai thought for a while. You can also find me. Li Gang looked at them blankly and then at Han Fei. Han Fei kept winking at him, thinking, idiot. 4 super potential stocks. I bought 10% of the shares. You can't do this business anywhere. Why are you so blind? Han Fei said leisurely, Little Gang, from now on, these people will be our shareholders. Send some food and toys to us when you're free, understand? Gulp. Yes. Li Gang was a bit confused. Didn't the village leader say that the school that Han Fei went to didn't even have a door? He said that it was too poor to look at. But the current situation was not right. They might be poor, but they seemed a bit fierce. Li Gang took a deep breath. Young master, don't worry. I will handle this matter well. Read 2. Chapter 154. In the woods, Lu Renquang and Zhang Xuanyu helped Han Fei drag the box of mid-quality pearls. What was intolerable was that Zhang Xuanyu would grab a handful from the box and put them in his pocket from time to time. In a short while, his pockets were stuffed full. Han Fei looked at him helplessly, only to hear Zhang Xuanyu say, "Fei Fei? This box is so heavy and my strength is so small, the labor cost is not much." Lu Renkuang was speechless. When can I be as shameless as Zhang Xuanyu? In the past, she had stolen the principal's vegetables in front of him. She stole the mid-quality pearls in front of Han Fei without blushing or palpitating. Han Fei didn't care. "I can only give 100 to each person. I have to use the money to buy a knife." Lu Renkuang pointed at Zhang Xuanyu. "Look at his pocket. It's falling out." Xia Xiaochan scoffed. "You're so stupid. We are shareholders. Do we still need to put money in our pockets?" Zhang Xuanyu was stunned. That made sense. He was really scared of being poor. He had never seen so much money before. So he fiddled around and poured out all the pearls in his pocket. After all, he had money to take. In the end, there was no place to put the mid-quality pearls. Han Fei couldn't throw it into Forge the Universe, so he threw it under the treehouse. Then, he went up the mountain to cultivate. Han Fei avoided everyone and couldn't wait to find a place to sit down. Deduce. 50,000 points of spiritual energy disappeared in the blink of an eye. Not long after, new data came out. Existing art, spirit-absorbing war body, incomplete spirit-level divine quality note, body tempering technique. Using pure spiritual energy to temper the acupoints all over the body, forging the spirit-absorbing battle body. In battle, one can continuously absorb spiritual energy from the void. Would you like to merge it with the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body tempering? You can do that? Fuse. Then, the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing disappeared, and so did the spirit-absorbing war body. What replaced it was a body-refining combat skill called the 108 spirit-absorbing war bodies. 108 spirit-absorbing war bodies, demon level, divine quality. Note: the human body is like a funnel. There are 108 vital acupoints and 36 fatal acupoints. One should use mysterious techniques to refine the acupoints, using pure spiritual energy to refine the acupoints all over the body, forging the acupoints to absorb spiritual energy. In battle, it could continuously absorb spiritual chi from the void. Derived cultivation method, unknown degree of completion 010000000. Han Fei was not surprised. Demon level divine grade? Shouldn't it be at the venerable level? Fang Zhe had once said that this was a combat skill used by venerable level powerhouses. Could it be related to the word divine? Venerable level cultivators didn't cultivate divine grade? However, it was still a grade higher than the spirit level divine grade. Unfortunately, it was not the heaven level divine grade. Otherwise, this body tempering technique would be too powerful. But when he saw the deduction cost 1 million points, he immediately gave up. Where do I have any spiritual chi now? The ultra-quality spiritual stones were meant to be used to upgrade the third level of void fishing. However, he needed to wait for a rainy day with thunder and lightning. Otherwise, the void fishing art would cause too much noise. In addition to the ultra-quality spiritual stones, Han Fei had less than 100 low-quality spiritual stones left. He had less than 1 million points of spiritual energy. Of course, Han Fei didn't stop and continued to deduce the war god Bao. Han Fei spent 100,000 points of spiritual energy without even blinking. War Soul Bao Technique, Heaven Tier Upper Grade remarks, a perfect 9 Bao combat skill deduced from the war god Bao. The first arrow attacks the body, the second attack the soul. One arrow is better than the other. When the 9 arrows are shot at the same time, they can be combined. Deduce technique, unknown degree of completion 010000000. Inch puff. Han Fei was speechless. 100,000 points of spiritual energy, and you deduced it infinitely close to the high quality? Another 10 million points of spiritual energy? Are you King robbing me? Han Fei was dumbfounded. He thought he could get a heaven-level divine quality one. What was the difference between this and no deduction? 100,000 points of spiritual energy were wasted. A large number of battle bow techniques emerged in his mind. This was the real life-saving technique. Once he mastered it, who could stop him? Although it was not divine quality, it was the second strongest combat skill he had after the indestructible body. As for the million knife art, Han Fei gave it up for the time being. He didn't have that many knives. He calculated that even if he refined it with the blade fish dagger, it would take more than 1 million points of spiritual energy to refine 10,000 mortal-level knives. Even if he settled for the next best thing and only wanted 1,000 sabers, he already had them. Where could he stuff them in? After all, the secret of the demon purification pot couldn't be shared in any case. 3 days later, Han Fei lay on the ground panting, his body covered with a layer of paste. The 108 spirit-absorbing war bodies was much stronger than the incomplete monograph on 108 ways of body polishing. It took him 3 days to practice it once, but the effect was very powerful. It even forcibly broke the upper limit of 1,899 points of spiritual energy. It was impossible to continue to practice. Body refining was the most time-consuming. In the past few days, Han Fei felt that someone had touched him several times. Needless to say, it was definitely Xia Shaochan. Han Fei wanted to refine a longbow, but unfortunately, he didn't have the materials. Of the things he got from the hexagon starfish, there was only a purple bone left. He didn't think a bone could be used to make a bow. At least there should be a string, right? Huh! Suddenly, Han Fei pulled out the 2 knives and flashed. The next moment, Xia Shaochan had pounced on him. Clink! Han Fei didn't dodge and was stabbed by Xia Shaochan. At this time, Xia Shaochan also appeared, staring at Han Fei's shoulder with wide eyes. Xia Shaochan was curious. How is it? Is it bleeding? Han Fei tore his clothes a little, saw the red blood, and was slightly shocked. My defense was broken? Xia Shaochan immediately smiled happily. Ha! I succeeded. Han Fei was a little speechless. So I have naturally become a new generation of meat shields? But after thinking about it, Han Fei realized that the indestructible body was not omnipotent. He still had a long way to go. Han Fei was helpless. What is this combat skill called? Xia Shaochan replied, Supreme Stab. It is said that this combat skill once stabbed a venerable. Unfortunately, I don't know what level the venerable is. But it should be very strong, right? Han Fei was very annoyed. Since he entered the Thug Academy, he had replaced Lu Renquang as the meat shield. It was said that Xia Shaochan used to stab Lu Renquang. Why did it become a stab when it came to him? Han Fei asked, Where are the others? Xia Shaochan put away the dagger. Lu Renquang's armor art is a weapon control art. It has 2 skills, one for attack and one for defense. Now he has mastered it and is eating hot pot at the foot of the mountain. Xiaobai's death substitute is not difficult. She mastered it in 1 day. But Zhang Xuanyu, his mystic killing rod is a bit weird. When he strikes with the rod, there seems to be a shadow that can ignore the defense and directly attack the soul. But the attack strength is not strong and can only make people dazed for a while. It has no effect on me. Han Fei was speechless. Are you boasting? Xia Shaochan looked at Han Fei up and down. Yes. What about you? Didn't you get the million knife art? Why have you been refining your body these days? Han Fei thought to himself, this girl has indeed come here secretly. I also need knives to practice. Xia Shaochan sneered. Aren't you rich? Go to the Linglong Tower. You can buy 100 knives with that. Han Fei raised his hand and sniffed the smell on his body, saying with a little disdain, the million knife art is a life-saving combat skill. I don't think there will be a time when I need to save my life in the Blue Sea arena. So, it's okay. I'm going to take a shower. Do you want to go with me? A cold light flashed and Han Fei ran away, muttering, "Fine, I won't go with you. Girls should be reserved." Xia Shaochan was angry. Usually, it was she who teased others, but she didn't expect that Han Fei was so thick-skinned that he often teased her. She snorted. "When the supreme stab becomes stronger, I'll definitely stab this guy." Half an hour later, Han Fei appeared on the table, picked up a piece of mushroom, and threw it into his mouth. When Lu Renkuang saw Han Fei, he pointed at him angrily and said, "Why are you a little thinner?" Han Fei said triumphantly, "I told you. My fat is only temporary. I used to be not only thin but also handsome." Zhang Xuanyu leaned over. "Am I handsome?" F***ck off. Luo Xiaobai said, "Okay, everyone is here. Let's go after eating." Han Fei was surprised. "Why are you in such a hurry?" Luo Xiaobai said flatly, "The 100-game winning streak in the Blue Sea Arena is just the first step. There is no doubt that the second brocade sachet must be in the sea, or even the level 3 fishery. That's where we really should go." Lu Renkuang swallowed a piece of mushroom. "The level 3 fishery? I haven't even been to the level 2 fishery." Zhang Xuanyu said lazily, "Then let's go to the level 2 fishery first. If not, let's go to the level 3 fishery." After the meal, the 5 of them walked out of the school gate in high spirit. This was the first time they left the school gate and the first time they walked on the stage of history. They represented not themselves but the school behind them. Behind them, Xiao Zhan watched them leave. "Old Bai, how long do you think it will take to win 100 games in a row?" Old Bai shrugged. 3 months. Wenren Yu shook her head. "I don't think so. Although my spiritual beast is a bit weak, it will take at most 2 months. Read 2. Chapter 155. The Blue Sea Town Arena, next to the Linglong Tower, was only a kilometer away, but it covered an area of nearly 3 football fields. Watermark advertisement test. Watermark advertisement test. Xia Shaochan asked, "Shall we buy a set of uniform?" Han Fei glanced at the fish-skin-like tights on his body. He had been used to its ugliness. At this moment, passing by the Linglong Tower, Han Fei scratched his belly. "Yes." Zhang Xuanyu's eyes lit up. "Sea silk, super beautiful." As soon as they climbed the steps, someone came up to greet them. "What can I do for you?" "By choosing the Linglong Tower, you've chosen an attitude," Zhang Xuanyu said impatiently. "I want to buy clothes, sea silk. We don't lack money. Bring us the best." Han Fei was speechless. "You don't lack money? Each of you has a bag of mid-quality pearls. Aren't they mine?" The waiter smiled. Yes. Do you want a series of suits or do you want to pick your own?" Han Fei asked, "What is the series of suits?" The waiter led them in and said with a smile, "I see that you are quite similar in behavior and appearance. You are so young, but you are in a group of 5. You must be here to participate in the Blue Sea Arena, right? Our Linglong Tower has always been in the habit of making team suits for people." Xia Shaochan asked, "Are there any suits for girls?" Yes. As long as you need it, the Linglong Tower has everything." They stepped into the gate of the Linglong Tower, and then the 4 good-for-nothings let out exclamations. Han Fei blushed. Cough. Don't be so shameful. Why don't you learn from me?" Xia Shaochan scoffed. Han Fei glanced at the so-called Linglong Tower. It was indeed extraordinary. Each floor was more than 10 meters high, and the ceiling was inlaid with worthless things such as gold and diamonds. The floor was paved with some kind of white jade, and the octagonal pillars were carved with seaweed relief. The room was full of treasures, quite like the nobility of a palace. Han Fei glanced at the counter. There were only some stones, fishing rods, weapons, pills, and clothes on the first floor. He was shocked by the price. A mortal level, high-quality rod cost 588 mid-quality pearls in this damn place. Han Fei glanced at his purple bamboo rod and wondered when he should replace it. Also, the clothes were made of seaweed, which was only slightly better than fish skin and no different from linen. They cost 188 mid-quality pearls. Not long after, a row of clothes was pushed out by the attendant. There were more than 10 pieces, all of which were blue and white and had a silky texture. Xia Xiaochan ran over with Luo Xiaobai, grabbed a set of girls' clothes, and gestured at it. The attendant smiled and said, "Miss, this dress may be a little big, but it doesn't matter. Our Lord Tailor has always been in the exquisite pagoda. It's only 200 mid-quality pearls, and it'll be ready for you right away." Xia Xiaochan muttered, "This is beautiful, this is also beautiful, wow, this is the most beautiful." Lu Renquang said, "This is good. It's very loose." The others were also so excited that they couldn't control themselves. They had finally experienced the life of a nouveau riche. Han Fei covered his face and pretended not to know them. However, the waiter saw this scene cleverly and immediately ran up to Han Fei. "Student, do you think our clothes are ugly? Don't worry, the size of our clothes can be enlarged. There is nothing wrong with your physique." Han Fei snorted. What did he mean? You want to say I'm fat? Just SOSO. Did everyone else wear these? Don't you think it'll be awkward if we all wear the same clothes in the arena? The waiter was still smiling. Of course not. Our Linglong Tower's clothes have always been sold out in one set. This set won't be released in a short period of time. I can guarantee you that no one in the entire arena will be wearing the same clothes as you. Han Fei nodded calmly. That's fine. However, the waiter was still smiling. But student, because our series has just come out. So, if you want to buy them, you might have to buy all of them. Han Fei raised his eyebrows. Really? The waiter apologized, because if you don't buy it, we will destroy the rest. This is a very large cost, please forgive me. Han Fei frowned. How much is this row? The waiter said with a smile. It's not expensive at all. 5,000 mid-quality pearls. Pooh! Lu Renquang let go of the clothes and almost took out his armor box and smashed it on the waiter's head. A few pieces of clothes cost 5,000 mid-quality pearls? Robbery? Han Fei was a little stunned. Are you kidding me? However, Han Fei didn't panic at all. Instead, he asked, is the design worth 5,000 or the quality worth 5,000? The waiter was still smiling. Whether it is the design or the quality, it is worth the price. Any piece of clothing here can resist the attack of a mortal-level low-quality weapon without being damaged. Xia Xiaochan looked at Han Fei eagerly. Although she thought it was expensive, it was beautiful. Han Fei scratched his belly helplessly and said to the waiter, "Go and tell your tailor that I have a set of design drafts here that are 10 times the value of these clothes. If she wants, she can take it out and have a look. If she doesn't want to, forget it. It's just 5,000 mid-quality pearls. It's not much. I'll buy it." The waiter finally lost his smile and looked at Han Fei in astonishment. Is this fatty bragging? Xia Xiaochan found that Han Fei seemed to know everything. She couldn't help but ask, Han Fei, can you also design clothes? Han Fei pursed his lips. One of the characteristics of geniuses is that they are omnipotent. Haha, narcissistic fatty. The waiter responded and immediately entered the inner floor of the Linglong Tower. He was thinking that if Han Fei could afford 5,000 mid-quality pearls, then it seemed possible that he had such a design. After a while, a graceful woman walked out, twisting her slim waist. She glanced at Han Fei and the others and said lazily, "Who said that he had a design that was 10 times the value of these clothes?" Han Fei smiled. "Me." The beautiful woman looked at Han Fei and said, "Student, don't talk nonsense. If you can't come up with such a design, you'll have to buy all these clothes." Han Fei raised his head and smiled. "It's just 5,000 mid-quality pearls. It's nothing to me. Bring me a pen and paper." The beautiful woman was surprised and nodded to the waiter, who quickly left. The beautiful woman smiled and said charmingly, "Oh, this student is very generous. You don't even care about 5,000 mid-quality pearls?" Han Fei patted his belly. It's nothing. As long as I want, I can compete with your Linglong Tower. It's just that I'm too lazy to do business. The corner of the beautiful woman's mouth twitched, and she really wanted to slap Han Fei to the ground. This kid's tone was a little too arrogant. Compete with the Linglong Pagoda? Who do you think you are? After a while, the pen and paper came. Luo Xiaobai whispered to Han Fei, "Okay?" Han Fei nodded. "Sure." Turning her head, Luo Xiaobai saw that Zhang Xuanyu was drooling at the beautiful woman, so she kicked him. Image. Han Fei picked up the brush and his strokes were as smooth as flowing water. Quietly, the graceful figures of several women appeared on the paper. Han Fei drew 8 people in a row, walking, standing, and sitting in various angles. The 8 people were wearing short skirts, ancient-style cheongsams, and they immediately attracted the beautiful woman's attention. After only 100 minutes, Han Fei put down the pen and said proudly, "How much is it worth?" The beautiful woman took a deep look at Han Fei and said solemnly, "Good design. The women's figures are so perfect. Student, do you know a girl's body well?" Han Fei suddenly blushed. "Don't slander me. This is called aesthetic appreciation, which is the appreciation of human beings for the perfect creatures created by heaven and earth. I am appreciating. How much is it worth?" Puff. Zhang Xuanyu looked up at the sky. Luo Xiaobai looked down at the ground. Xia Shaochan snorted, thinking that Han Fei was really a pervert. The beautiful woman blinked at Han Fei. "It's indeed dozens of times better than my crude works. I wonder if you can sell these clothes to the Linglong Tower? Of course, the Linglong Tower will not take advantage of you. You can choose an item within 50,000 mid-quality pearls in this shop." Wow! Zhang Xuanyu and the others' eyes almost popped out. They had never seen such a profitable thing. In 100 minutes, not only did they get a free set of clothes, but they also earned 50,000 mid-quality pearls. Zhang Xuanyu put his arms around Han Fei's neck. "Fei, I think it's worth it," Han Fei said angrily. "Shut up. You're lowering my value." Zhang Xuanyu. Xia Shaochan tugged at the corner of Han Fei's clothes and whispered, "Can we not sell it? I think it looks good. Let's buy the cloth and make it ourselves." Luo Xiaobai nodded. "I agree." Han Fei ignored the two of them. Women only knew how to protect good things, but they didn't know that he had better things in his hands. Han Fei waved his hand. "Sell it. I have a better design." Xia Xiaochan's eyes lit up. "Really? Then, let's buy the cloth ourselves and go back to make better ones." Luo Xiaobai frowned and stared at the drawing. "I still think this is better." Roar! Suddenly, there was a tsunami-like sound of waves not far away, and everyone turned their heads to look. The beautiful woman struck while the iron was hot. It must be a team that won. Those who bet on the winner are cheering. Students, we have a lot of good things in this shop that can improve your odds of winning. Read 2. Chapter 156. The beautiful woman's face was a little solemn. Han Fei's words shocked her a lot. This boy has a better costume design than the drawings? The beautiful woman immediately said, "Student, may I know if your other design is?" Han Fei shook his head. "No. I told you I don't care about the money. I want to give it away." The beautiful woman really wanted to kick this prodigal out of the Linglong Tower. However, she still smiled and said, "What do you want to buy, little friend?" Han Fei said with a smile, "Sister, what do you recommend?" The beautiful woman narrowed her eyes. 50,000 mid-quality pearls was not a small number. However, Han Fei didn't seem to want to exchange them for money but asked her to recommend something, which was worth thinking about. The beautiful woman asked, "Have you ever heard of spiritual weapons? For personal reasons, I can give you a low-quality spiritual weapon." Han Fei thought to himself, "I can refine weapons myself. However, weapons should be suitable for my own needs. Why do I need spiritual weapons now?" Although Xia Shaochan was next to him, she poked at his waist. However, Han Fei still shook his head. "No need." The beautiful woman smiled. Our Linglong Tower also has a lot of high-quality spiritual fruits, which contain a lot of spiritual energy. They are suitable for you. Zhang Xuanyu said, Fei Fei. This is okay. Han Fei shook his head again. It's just a spiritual fruit. There are many in the sea. You can pick them yourself. No need. Lu Renkuang pulled Han Fei and whispered, How troublesome is it to pick them yourself? I want them. Han Fei shook his head. But they are all things that we can get with hard work. Even if we want them, we can't get them for the time being. The beautiful woman thought for a moment and seemed to be struggling. Finally, she said, Since you don't want a good weapon or a spiritual fruit that can help you cultivate, there is an item that is suitable for you. Have you ever heard of a sea-swallowing seashell? Luo Xiaobai was surprised. A sea-swallowing seashell is only 50,000 mid-quality pearls? The beautiful woman shook her head. More than that, but the Linglong Tower wants to make a deal with you. If you don't develop a clothing business in the Blue Sea Town in the future, you can have a sea-swallowing seashell. Han Fei rolled his eyes. Okay. The waiter next to her was slightly surprised. Miss Yuling, a sea-swallowing seashell is worth. The beautiful woman glanced at the waiter lightly. The latter immediately shut up and went upstairs. Han Fei shrugged. Don't worry, I'm not interested in the clothing business. In the vast Blue Sea Town, I can earn 10 times more mid-quality pearls with this blueprint than I paid today. The beautiful woman smiled faintly and did not say anything. Let's go. Hurry up and change your clothes. We're here to compete. Don't waste time. When they all entered the locker room, the beautiful woman's face changed slightly, and she said to a waiter behind her, Find out which heavenly talent this boy is from. 5 minutes later, Han Fei held a small shell in his hand and said, Goodbye. Out of the Linglong Tower, Xia Shaochan quickly said, Let's see how big it is. It's said that the internal space of a sea-swallowing seashell can accommodate dozens of square meters. Lu Renkuang leaned close curiously. I didn't have the nerve to ask, but is there such a treasure in this world? Zhang Xuanyu shook his head. I haven't heard of it either. Luo Xiaobai said lightly, Some are big, some are small. You'll only know when your sea-swallowing seashell is opened, but it's usually not too big. Han Fei scratched his belly. He was too embarrassed to ask just now. After pretending for so long, he couldn't possibly say that he didn't know, right? Luo Xiaobai, how big is it? Han Fei blinked. How? Everyone. Lu Renkuang was speechless. Wait, you don't know either? Han Fei chuckled. I guessed from their expressions that this thing must be very valuable. Everyone. There are 2 ways. Inject your spiritual energy, and this sea-swallowing seashell will detect your spiritual energy. You can open it with your mind and collect things. Spiritual energy flashed in Han Fei's hands, and then with a thought, less than 5 meters in radius. Luo Xiaobai replied, Not bad. Generally, it's only about 3 or 4 meters. Of course, there are also big ones, but they usually don't come out. Han Fei was stunned. Luo Xiaobai knew a lot. Han Fei immediately asked, I don't know if I should say this. By the way, why are you all so poor? Instantly, the few of them fell silent. Zhang Xuanyu said leisurely, You may not believe it, but I touched a mid-quality pearl for the first time in my life after meeting you. Han Fei, Lu Renkuang sighed. When I was in the village, after fishing in the sea, except for paying the fish tax, it was not even enough for me to eat. Where did I get the money? Han Fei, Luo Xiaobai muttered, I've never bought anything with money. Han Fei. Xia Shaochan didn't speak and handed over the bag in her hand. Throw the clothes in. Han Fei almost collapsed. What kind of torture did these people go through? Was it a competition to see who was more miserable? With a thought, the bag in his hand disappeared from his hand and reappeared in the next second. Under the envious eyes of Lu Renkuang and Zhang Xuanyu, Han Fei put away the things and said with a smile, Interesting, I have a place to put my money in the future. Everyone, Luo Xiaobai suggested, Didn't you choose the million knife art? You can use it to put knives in the future. Han Fei nodded perfunctorily. I'll let you go when I have a knife. Han Fei was in a good mood. It's just a Cheongsam. I still have tang suits, Han Fu, Sin girls, and OL. At this moment, they had changed their clothes and were wearing sea silk clothes, which looked high-end and classy. Many people turned their heads when they walked on the road. Of course, people mainly looked at the clothes, as well as Xia Shaochan and Zhang Xuanyu. As for Han Fei and Lu Renquang, they were completely ignored. The two fatties couldn't arouse anyone's interest at all. Blue Sea Arena. There was an endless stream of people coming in and out. In the hall, the ticket office was full of people. Luo Xiaobai went straight to the information desk and asked, "Sign up for the team competition." The staff was taken aback. Another student came to participate? He said with a headache, "Students, this is a real fight. The 3 academies have warned us more than once. If you are injured, it will be hard for us to explain." Luo Xiaobai said coldly, "We are not from the 3 academies. We are from the Thug Academy." Thug Academy? Xia Shaochan added, "The 4th Academy." The staff was confused. When did the 4th Academy have students? Never heard of it. Students, when did the 4th Academy start? Luo Xiaobai replied, "It has always been open, but no one pays attention to it." The staff smiled helplessly. "Okay. Since you insist on participating, then please report your strength. Then we can arrange the number of matches." Luo Xiaobai replied, "Junior Grade Fishing Master, Manipulator." Puff! The staff was shocked and his face changed drastically. There was a student at the level of a Great Fishing Master in the 4th Academy? Xia Shaochan replied, "Junior Great Fishing Master, Hunter." Lu Renquang replied, "Junior Great Fishing Master, Armorist." Han Fei replied, "Junior Great Fishing Master, Spirit Gatherer." Zhang Xuanyu replied, "Peak Level Fishing Master, Soul Warrior." Clatter! The pen in the staff's hand fell to the ground. He trembled all over and ran away as fast as he could. Zhang Xuanyu shrugged. "You must have scared him. I should have reported first." Luo Xiaobai asked, "Is there a difference? You will be a Junior Great Fishing Master in a few days." After a while, a middle-aged man came from the inner room of the arena. As he walked, he asked the staff, "Where are they? Did you stay?" "Sir, they are in the hall." The middle-aged man glanced around quickly and immediately walked up to the 5 of them with a smile. "Students, I'm Bao Jin, the person in charge of the competition in the Blue Sea Arena. Please come in and take a seat. Please believe me, this is the negligence of our staff. Please come with me." After a while, in a private room, Bao Jin said with a smile, "It's our honor to have you come to participate in the competition. Especially the combination of your professions, it's a perfect combination. So, please allow us to carry out a test for you in the arena." Luo Xiaobai asked indifferently, "How to test?" Bao Jin smiled. "Since you've come to the arena, of course, we'll fight in the arena. Of course, because you are all great fishing masters, the team we arranged will not be too weak. It will also be a team of peak-level fishing masters and junior great fishing masters." Luo Xiaobai asked, "Okay, how long will it take?" Bao Jin thought to himself, "Do you have to be in such a hurry? However, this is the 4th Academy. They haven't appeared in the Blue Sea Arena for 30 years. Why did they come this time?" Bao Jin patted his chest. "Soon, the players will be in place in half an hour at most." Luo Xiaobai nodded. "Okay, then we'll wait here. To talk about Fishing God with more like-minded people, please follow Yuwa Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence read too." Chapter 157. From the private room they were in, they could see the arena directly. The private room was simple and unadorned. All the decorations were seaweed carvings and fish grass sculptures. The chairs were polished with various colored corals. There was even a spring in the corner of the room. The wall facing the arena had no windows. There was only a small fence and a large open space, which was convenient for watching the competition. At this moment, there were two fishing master teams fighting fiercely in the arena. Someone was pierced by the spear, but the other party did not kill him. At the same time, both teams had 5 main professions. One was a manipulator, while the other was a soul warrior. Han Fei was surprised. "What about those who fight here and get injured?" Zhang Xuanyu replied, "There is a special spirit gatherer for treatment. However, do you think spirit gatherers can heal other people's injuries? Don't you know how?" Han Fei raised his eyebrows. "Really? Why didn't I know about it?" Luo Xiaobai said lightly, "I chose a different direction. Didn't you choose water manipulation? Bite off more than you can chew. Healing skills also take time to learn." Han Fei immediately lost his composure. Old Jiang was too much. He didn't even teach him healing skills. What if he was injured? He still had to wait for someone to save him. "Don't be afraid. Your skin is thick. I can't pierce it." Han Fei chuckled. "Thank you. Since you're injured, shouldn't I heal you?" "No, I have to go back and learn that healing spell as well." Lu Renkuang was speechless. "Do you spirit gatherers learn everything you want to learn? As if learning doesn't take any time at all." Han Fei grunted. "If I told you that I became a spirit gatherer in 6 days, would you be so surprised that your eyes would pop out?" Soon, the battle below became one-sided. The manipulator was very agile, but his teammates couldn't handle the battle soul master. After the field was cleared one by one, the manipulators couldn't fight at all. Zhang Xuanyu sighed. "Stupid. Can't we just get rid of the soul warrior on the other side first?" "Do you think he doesn't want to?" Just as everyone was talking, there was a knock on the door. Bao Jin came and said with a smile, "Students, are you ready?" Luo Xiaobai said, "Anytime." Bao Jin said, "All right, your opponents have arrived and are preparing. Please come with me. Hey, by the way, does your team have a name? Our lord, when the host is introducing you, he can give you some publicity." "Thug legend." Bao Jin. Zhang Xuanyu explained, "It's just a legend about a few thugs." Bao Jin's mouth twitched. "Legend with just a few of you? Let's win this round first." Backfield. Luo Xiaobai naturally played the role of the captain. She looked at everyone and said, "Xiaochan, deal with the opponent's manipulator as soon as possible. Zhang Xuanyu, deal with the opponent's spirit gatherer. Lu Renkuang, deal with the soul warrior. Han Fei, if there is no accident, the opponent's hunter will choose you and me first. So, stay by my side and take care of the other party's hunters." Han Fei said casually, "We don't even know the opponent's formation. Will there be a double battle or double hunt?" Luo Xiaobai thought for a moment. "Then let's have a high degree of freedom in the first round. You can choose your own target, but you must defeat it quickly. We must show the Thug Academy's strength in the first round." Xia Xiaochan smiled happily. "No problem. As long as the opponent's manipulator and spirit gatherer are not as perverted as Han Fei, it will be easy." Lu Renkuang patted the armor box. "Then it's decided. I just need to block the opponent's soul warrior. That's easy." After a moment, in the arena, someone was shouting wildly, "Dear audience, your tickets today are really worth it. You have no idea what a miracle you have encountered. We, the legendary 4th Academy from the Blue Sea Town, have sent 5 students to participate in this promotion match." "What? 4th Academy? Aren't they farmers?" "Yes. Isn't that a plantation? Do they have students there?" "Where are the students from? Has the 4th Academy recruited students?" The host continued, "Like everyone else, I was shocked when I heard the news. But this is the truth. I have to tell you that this time the 4th Academy is a perfect combination of 5 people, including Soul Warrior, Armorist, Manipulator, Spirit Gatherer, and Hunter. Where is the applause? Where are the cheers?" Clap, clap, sparse applause sounded, but there was no cheers at all. Even if they were a perfect combination. The host was a little embarrassed, but in this situation, he could only bite the bullet and say, What's even more incredible is that among these 5 teenagers, only one is a peak-level fishing master, and the other 4 are all junior great fishing masters. Are you surprised? Are you surprised? What you are about to see is a duel between great fishing masters. Let's welcome the team of the 4th Academy with warm applause. They are the Thug Legend. The 5 of them entered the arena, their faces full of confidence and pride. Zhang Xuanyu said to Han Fei, "The host is quite enthusiastic. Unfortunately, the introduction is too casual. Isn't he going to introduce the spiritual beasts?" Lu Renkuang whispered, "Spiritual beasts should be shown on the spot. If you introduce everything, people won't have a sense of expectation." Xia Shaochan was very excited. "I'll go first. I'll kill the manipulator first." The host almost roared, "Now, let's welcome another team. They're already old acquaintances of ours. They once fought their way through the fishing master arena and overcame all obstacles along the way. They're the 3 Swordsmanship League. Will they be able to maintain their legend as a duo soul master duo? Let's welcome the 3 Swordsmanship League." Han Fei glanced at the host and said, "It's not easy to be a host. The whole audience depends on him." When Han Fei looked at Xia Shaochan, he found that the girl was waving at the stands. Han Fei frowned. "Xia Shaochan, what are you doing? Why are you waving? They don't even want to talk to us." Xia Shaochan tilted her head. "Let me say hello to them and tell them that I'm going to kill them." Everyone on the stands. Someone wondered, are the students of the 4th Academy good enough? How can such a beautiful girl become a great fishing master? Someone said disdainfully, without actual combat experience, their combat power must be greatly reduced. No, I bet I lose. Someone nodded. Maybe the 4th Academy deliberately piled up resources to make a name for themselves. However, they came to the wrong place. In the arena, everyone is an expert who fights with real swords and spears. On the field, on the opposite side was a woman and 4 men. The woman was a manipulator. In front of her was a burly man in heavy armor. He was an armorist. In the front there were 2 soul warriors, and there was a thin man holding a dagger. He was a hunter. Han Fei pursed his lips. "Look, I guessed it. The opposite side is a spirit gatherer." Xia Shaochan smiled. "This kind of fast battle doesn't need a spirit gatherer at all." Han Fei paused. "So, I have to play the role of a soul warrior?" With that, Han Fei stepped on the ground and a spirit-gathering formation appeared. Zhang Xuanyu glared at Han Fei. "Shameless." The host shouted, "Wow! The spirit-gatherer of the Thug Legend has already started. Then I declare that the game officially begins." On the stands, someone was speechless. Is this spirit-gatherer a fool? He exposed himself at the beginning. Doesn't he know that the opponent has a hunter? Forget it. I thought it would be a wonderful battle. I didn't expect these students to be the kind of noobs who have no actual combat experience at all. On the field, Xia Shaochan and the opponent's hunter disappeared at the same time. Zhang Xuanyu and Lu Renkuang glanced at each other. The 2 soul warriors each took one. In the blink of an eye, only Han Fei and Luo Xiaobai were left on the Thug Legend's side. And in front of the opponent's manipulator, there was an armorist. In the stands there was a burst of curses. "Thug my ass. Bullsh *t, they lost." The armorist didn't even protect the spirit gatherer and the manipulator. Is he courting death? Boring. I thought it would be very exciting. Even the host was speechless. What do I have to say about this battle? Are they a bunch of idiots? In the midst of the curses, suddenly everyone saw Han Fei move. The spirit gatherer suddenly took out a pair of knives and slashed at Han Fei. The speed was so fast that an arc of light was drawn in the air. Spinning blade. For a moment, sparks were splashing in the air. Han Fei grinned grimly, pulled the purple bamboo rod in his hand, and a figure was suddenly hit out by Han Fei from the invisible state. At this time, dozens of vines tied up the hunter in the blink of an eye. Han Fei walked on the wind. Spiral strike. Bam! There was a burst of dust, and the opponent's hunter was lying on the ground without even touching Han Fei. At this moment, he vomited blood and couldn't get up at all. In the stands, everyone was dumbfounded. The host was also dumbfounded. Aren't you a King Spirit Gatherer? Why did you deliberately step on a spirit gathering formation? Are you kidding us? You are obviously a King Soul Warrior. God of Fishing. If you want to talk about God of Fishing with more like-minded people, follow Yuwa Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence. Read 2. Chapter 158. The host was the first to react and shouted at the sky, "Dear audience, you're not mistaken. This player turns out to be a spirit gatherer and a soul warrior. He's too strong." It only took him 1 second to defeat the hunter of the 3 Swordsmanship League. The audience was also crazy. No way. 2 professions? Is this kid a monster? How can he be so strong? It's over, it's over. I bet 100 mid-quality pearls on the 3 Swordsmanship League. Oh, it's too easy. Isn't it too easy for this fatty to beat people? Before the audience finished talking, the host exclaimed, "Oh no, the manipulator of the 3 Swordsmanship League has been killed." Over there, several shadows bypassed the opponent's armorist. Xia Xiaochan's shadow flashed, and the opponent's manipulator reacted quickly, wrapping himself in a large patch of seaweed in front of him. The audience was shocked to see that a big round hole was drilled out of the seaweed in an instant. Shadow stab. Shadow sting. She didn't give the opponent's manipulator time to react at all. A cold light flashed in the seaweed, and Xia Xiaochan appeared in front of the armorist, who was almost scared out of his wits. "I'll kill you." Clang, clang, clang. The armorist was surrounded by shields. The swords and knives flew out of the armor box, but they couldn't keep up with Xia Xiaochan's speed at all. At this moment, the seaweed behind the armorist had all disappeared. Everyone saw that the female manipulator had knelt on the ground, covering her lower abdomen. She raised her hand and seemed to want to help her teammates with seaweed. But the next moment, her body was entangled by vines. The host was shocked and ecstatic. Wow, what did we see? The beautiful hunter of the thug legend knocked down the opponent's manipulator in less than 1 second. Now, she is blocking the opponent's armorist head-on? The host was a little unsure. A hunter versus an armorist? But before the host finished his shock, on the other side, Lu Renkuang's armor box was opened, and his swords and knives flew out at the same time. The swords and knives flew in the air, shuttling back and forth like shadows. Puff, puff, puff. The 2 soul warriors tried their best to support him. However, Zhang Xuanyu suddenly shouted, "Blood Qi burn. 7-layered waves in furious sea." Dang dang dang. Although Zhang Xuanyu was not yet a great fishing master, the battle effect of the 7-layered waves in furious sea was gorgeous and even cooler than Han Fei's spiral strike. Before this, they had never thought that a soul warrior and an armorist could cooperate like this. 2 warriors of the 3 Swordsmanship Alliance. The soul warrior was sent flying in the blink of an eye. Xia Xiaochan was still fighting with the opponent. However, the armorist found that he had fewer and fewer weapons. When he looked again, he found that his weapons were all entangled in the air by the vines. Shadow stab. Han Fei raised the purple bamboo rod and flicked it. "Let's go." Clang, kacha. The armorist was still in a daze when he was sent flying. When he flew out, he was still thinking that he had just taken out his armor box. How did he lose? The host gulped, not knowing what to say. The audience was silent. They were all dumbfounded. Someone said stupidly, "I just came in. I haven't even sat down yet. How is it over?" Roar, thug legend. Thug legend. Thug legend, crazy. The audience went crazy. At the beginning, many people were still cursing. However, before someone finished a sentence, the thug legend won. What the hell was this? Only then did the host react. Our thug legend won. It was so exciting. It only took 5 minutes and the battle was over. Everyone in the Thug Legend has excellent combat ability and skills. Let's cheer for them. Applause, cheers. Clap, clap, clap. Thug, the host swallowed. I don't even know what to say. Damn, I didn't even see it clearly. I didn't even see what kind of combat skills you used, and it was over. Isn't this a slap in the face? In a private room, Bao Jin was dumbfounded. He rubbed his eyes and took a deep breath. The 4th Academy? Are they going to make a comeback? At this moment, Xia Shaochan and the others were waving to the audience. Different from the way they waved when they came, this time they seemed very casual. Lu Renquang was shouting, "We are the Thug Legend from the 4th Academy of the Blue Sea Town, the 4th Academy. The 4th Academy." The crazy spectators didn't care which academy you were from, they would shout whenever they saw you. Besides, many of the people present were students of the 3 academies. They were all stunned. No way. When did the 4th Academy have these students? Aren't they too strong? A group of people were crying. If I had known that the 4th Academy was so strong, I wouldn't have bet on them. I would never bet on them. At this moment, the others had returned to the lounge in the backfield. Bao Jin was already waiting here. Bao Jin looked incredulous. Students, are you really great fishing masters? Xia Shaochan replied, of course. Although there are only 5 students in our Thug Academy, we can still compete with the 3 academies. Bao Jin sucked in a cold breath. He remembered the legend of the Blue Sea Arena, a legend about the 4th Academy. In history, the Thug Academy seemed to have swept the Blue Sea Arena. Could it be that this time, gulp? Zhang Xuanyu said lazily, when can you arrange the next group of opponents for us? Bao Jin bitterly smiled and said, fellow students, because your strength has exceeded our expectations, our arena needs to rearrange the candidates. If it's possible, please come back tomorrow. Han Fei scratched his belly. Can't I play today? Bao Jin was speechless. How was he supposed to fight today? I have invited a few, but they are all mediocre teams. They didn't even last for 5 breaths. How would I dare to let the other teams go up? Even if I call them, they probably won't listen. As he spoke, he saw a group of people packing up their belongings and preparing to leave the arena. When they saw Bao Jin, they were speechless and said, Old Bao, can you at least choose an opponent who is similar to us? You're sending us to our deaths. They also returned to the academy. It couldn't be helped. Today, they didn't arrange for a venue. There seemed to be no point in waiting there. At the same time, the 3 academies of the Blue Sea Town were seething first, followed by the people of the Blue Sea Town. The contents of this chapter are mobile update. Many people didn't believe it and asked, there are still students in the 4th Academy? The 3rd Academy? When Yi Nanfei heard the news, he immediately smiled bitterly. Sure enough, when Han Fei went to the 4th Academy, he already had a feeling. Was the 4th Academy going to make a comeback? The students who encountered Han Fei at that time all ran over at this moment, wanting to hear what Yi Nanfei had to say. Yi Nanfei said, tomorrow, go to the arena to watch their game. Maybe after watching it, you will know what kind of academy the 4th Academy is. The same was true of the other 2 academies. At this moment, the principals of the 1st and 2nd academies were meeting. Bai Kongyi finally found the heir of the Thug Academy. Alas, the thugs are finally going to make a comeback. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. The tragedy of that year. I wonder if these little guys can reach the level of that year? Haha. If they can reach the level of that year. I'm afraid that this year's top 100 list will change. The God of Fishing side. If you want to talk about Fishing God with more like-minded people, follow You Read Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence read too. Chapter 159. The next day, when they arrived at the Blue Sea Arena, they found that it was already overcrowded. Countless people raised their tickets and rushed inside. Han Fei scratched his belly. Opening an arena is quite profitable, isn't it? Xia Shaochan said helplessly. I can't afford it. Lu Renquang smacked his lips. Isn't the hot pot restaurant of the fish dragons going to open in 2 days? When the time comes, we can also make money. Everyone looked at him in disdain. Do you really want to make money? You want to eat for free, right? Han Fei suddenly heard a familiar voice. He turned around, only to find that He Xiaoyu, Wang Baiyu, Xiao Wushuang and the others were all here. He Xiaoyu, why are you here? He Xiaoyu ran over and looked at him up and down. Did you really go to the 4th Academy? When Xiang Nan told me, I didn't believe him. In the end, you guys became famous yesterday. Famous? He Xiaoyu said excitedly, yes. Do you know that these people are all here to see the 4th Academy? Wang Baiyu smiled. I heard that you are all great fishing masters? Wang Baiyu's eyes flickered. Han Fei did have some big secret. In the past, he felt that Han Fei's strength improved too fast. Now, when he was only an intermediate fishing master, Han Fei was already a great fishing master. Han Fei forced a smile and scratched his belly. If I'm not careful. At this time, Xia Shaochan popped up from behind and asked curiously, Is this your friend? Zhang Xuanyu had already appeared in front of He Xiaoyu. Miss, I have something for you. He Xiaoyu looked at Zhang Xuanyu in a daze and blushed, thinking that this guy was too handsome. What? Zhang Xuanyu smiled and said, Open your hands. He Xiaoyu opened her hand stupidly, only to see Zhang Xuanyu holding her hand. Me? Do you want it? For a moment, He Xiaoyu's face flushed. She was stunned for a while until Zhang Xuanyu was kicked away by Han Fei. Zhang Xuanyu said angrily, Fei, don't go too far. Zhang Xuanyu, are you itching for a beating? Zhang Xuanyu walked behind Lu Renquang. You don't understand. On one day it's a feeling called palpitating. Xia Shaochan glanced at Han Fei suspiciously. Han Fei, is he your lover? He Xiaoyu glared angrily. What kind of classmates are you? Han Fei frowned. It's an accident. Do you want to go in together? He Xiaoyu's eyes flickered. Can I? Han Fei chuckled. If these people are all here to see us, it should be possible. A private room. This was the service they enjoyed. At this moment, more than a dozen people were leaning against the window, looking at the arena that was filled to the brim. They were all a little shocked. Did these people all come to see them? Soon, Bao Jin appeared in the private room in person and said to them with a smile, Students, according to your needs, we have arranged the competition in the next 10 days. Today we've found 2 teams of great fishing masters, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Of course, if you think it's too much, I can move the afternoon one to tomorrow. Luo Xiaobai said coldly, Not enough. Bao Jin was dumbfounded. Not enough? Lu Renquang said, 2 is too few. Call as many guilds as you can. We're in a hurry. Bao Jin. Everyone. What we mean is, even if your arena arranges 10 games a day, it'll be enough. 2 is too few. It's a waste of time. Bao Jin took a breath. Did the 4th Academy become so arrogant as soon as they came out? 10 games a day? As the person in charge of the arena, what he wanted was a steady stream. If Han Fei and the others came every day, he would have such a hot business every day. Luo Xiaobai said lightly, We won't leave until we win 100 games in a row. So, you can arrange as many as you can. Bao Jin shuddered. 100 games in a row? It turned out that the purpose of the 4th Academy was to win 100 games in a row? Yes, in the entire history of the Blue Sea Town, there had only been 2 100-game winning streaks. One of them was from the 4th Academy. Now, did they really want to make a comeback? He's just a junior great fishing master, isn't he? He Xiaoyu and the others were dumbfounded. What the hell was 100 games in a row? There were so many strong masters in this damn place. How could they win 100 games in a row? When? But Bao Jin suddenly said seriously, Don't worry, I'll take care of it. If you really want to win 100 games in a row in the Blue Sea Arena before you leave, then I can guarantee that you will have at least dozens of games every day. Bao Jin left excitedly. When he walked out of the door, he clenched his fists hard. 100 games in a row. In history, the Blue Sea Arena's glory was because of those 200-game winning streak. If he could win 100 games in a row again, the Blue Sea Arena would win a new glory. Bao Jin said to the waiter next to him, "Immediately, call all the teams in the next few days. In addition, notify the entire Blue Sea town and invite all great fishing master teams. Anyone who participates will get 1,000 mid-quality pearls. Anyone who wins the Thug Legend will get 10,000 mid-quality pearls." The waiter was stunned and Bao Jin roared, "Come on!" In the private room, Xiang Nan exclaimed, "Are you going to win 100 games in a row?" Wang Baiyu explained, "There have only been 2 times in history, and the last time was more than 30 years ago." Luo Xiaobai added, "Records exist to be broken. Let's go, it's about to start." Han Fei shrugged. She is the captain. She has the final say. Watching Han Fei and the others leave, He Xiaoyu and the others looked strange. Xiao Wushuang looked at Wang Baiyu. "Do you think it's possible?" Wang Baiyu frowned. "Logically speaking, it's almost impossible. But let's wait and see." Chen Qing didn't think about this but asked, "He Xiaoyu, did you find that the girl next to Han Fei just now is super beautiful?" Xiang Nan nodded. "I did." Jia Tong glanced at them. "She was there just now, so I didn't say it." Wang Baiyu smiled. "Yes, He Xiaoyu, you have a competitor." He Xiaoyu asked, "Oh, what are you talking about? Watch the game." With that, she turned her head away. In his heart, he thought that the girl was really pretty. Even she couldn't help but want to look at her more. Did they fall in love at such a young age? He Xiaoyu shook her head. "No, Han Fei is so fat. No one will like him." Inside the arena, the host was roaring, "Today, I see from your enthusiasm that you attach great importance to today's game. Yesterday, the Thug Legend defeated the 3 Swordsmanship League. Yesterday, the Thug Legend defeated the 3 Swordsmanship League. Today, will the legend continue? Let's welcome the first team we invited today, the Deep Sea Wild Wolves." It's worth mentioning that the captain of the Deep Sea Wild Wolves has a powerful deep sea wolf fish spiritual beast. They once dominated the level 2 fishery and won 7 battles. Wow, come on. You must hold on for 5 minutes. Brother, if you don't want to die, use your ultimate move as soon as the game starts. After the 5-member team of the Deep Sea Wild Wolves came out, the whole team was in a bad mood. What are they shouting for? Is it certain that we will be defeated? Can we be compared to a rubbish team like the 3 Swordsmanship League? On the other side, Luo Xiaobai was analyzing. Captain Lin Lang is a hunter and the owner of the Deep Sea Wild Wolf's spiritual beast. This is an all-hunter team, all of them. Xia Shaochan nodded. "Leave that Lin Lang to me." "Yes, Lin Lang will be yours. Han Fei, Lurenquang, Zhang Xuanyu, stay with me. I'll control the field and tell you their positions. Try to kill them with one blow." On the field, when Han Fei and the others came out, the audience was boiling. Thug Legend, let's look forward to their performance today. The game starts. In the auditorium, at least hundreds of people from the 3 academies were watching. At this moment, none of them spoke. They needed to watch a game to judge the strength of the Thug Legend. Fuse. Both sides shouted fuse, but only Han Fei shouted attach. However, his voice was drowned in the waves of sound, and no one heard it. The 5 opponents all disappeared from the field. Xia Shaochan disappeared at the same time. With Luo Xiaobai as the center, thousands of vines ran through the ground. In a few seconds, the area within 100 meters was covered by dense vines. Clang, clang, clang. Somewhere on the battlefield, Xia Shaochan seemed to have fought with Lin Lang. There was only knife light in the air, but no figure. Suddenly Luo Xiaobai said, 18 meters to the left. Lu Renquang immediately patted his armor box, and a torrent of weapons poured out like a long dragon. 16 meters to the left in the air. Zhang Xuanyu grinned. Spirit strike. 7 layered waves, Luo Xiaobai said. Han Fei, 12 meters to the right, 8 meters behind you. If you want to talk about fishing God with more like-minded people, follow Yuwa Literature on WeChat, chat about life, and find confidence read too. Chapter 160. As soon as Luo Xiaobai's voice fell, the 2 knives behind Han Fei flew out. Then a surprising scene appeared. Han Fei didn't move but took out his fishing rod. With a wave of the hook moved like a slithering snake, instantly shooting out violently. Instant hook. At the moment when Han Fei's hook shot out, hundreds of vines on the right side of Luo Xiaobai suddenly rose. Spirit absorption. Spiral strike. Han Fei jumped back, and a fat man stepped on the air and attacked with his rod like a spiral. Bam! A figure was sent flying with blood spurting out, fell to the ground, and was tied up tightly. On the other side, the vines were broken, but the hunter was completely exposed to everyone. Even though the vines were chopped up crazily, the hunter was still pulled to Han Fei's side. Crook ejection, go. Without giving the hunter a chance to escape, Han Fei hit the ground with his rod. On the other side, the hunter that Zhang Xuanyu faced was the most unlucky. At that moment, he felt that his mind was blank. When he came to his senses, the rod had hit him like a raging wave. He was hit 7 times in a row, and before he could react, he was knocked out. In contrast, Lu Renquang's opponent was slightly better. Hunters were best known for their explosive power and speed. Although he was covered in cuts and bruises, at least he managed to escape. But just after he ran away, Captain Lin Lang fell from the sky, lying on the ground and groaning. The host wanted to vomit blood. How can I explain this? All of them can be invisible. He hadn't even had the chance to shout, and the battle had already ended? The audience was silent. The students of the other 3 academies who came to watch the battle were shocked. Was this the 4th academy that they looked down upon? Was this the strength of the perfect team? In the private room, Xia Wushuang swallowed. They seemed to be a bit strong. Xiang Nan's eyes widened. More than a bit strong. I feel that hunters can't fight back at all in front of them. Chen Qing took a breath. That beautiful girl killed the captain of the deep-sea wild wolves in less than 3 minutes? I didn't even see her appear. As soon as she appeared, she had already won. He Xiaoyu patted her chest. She took a deep breath. This battle had already surpassed his understanding. In the auditorium, a student from the 1st Academy said, "Very strong." It was not that the deep-sea wild wolves were weak in terms of teamwork or individual combat power. It was just that their position was exposed as soon as they moved. In addition, the captain of the Thug Legend is a manipulator, and his perception is extremely strong. They have nowhere to hide. A student from the 2nd Academy said, "No, we have to tell the big shots in our school. We can't let the 4th Academy go on like this. Otherwise, in less than 3 days, the name of the 4th Academy will stand out in the Blue Sea town." Yi Nanfei from the 3rd Academy also came to watch the game. He said calmly to the students beside him, "Did you see that? This was the advantage of a perfect combination. The Spirit Gatherer hasn't even appeared yet, and a manipulator has already dominated the field." The student swallowed his saliva after hearing this. The people who had fought with Han Fei all took a deep breath. The agility and strength of this manipulator was truly an eye-opener for them. There were still a few people in the audience, but they were the 5 people from the 3 Saber Sword Alliance. At this moment, a big man touched his head and said, "Ha ha ha, fortunately, I thought that this team would be difficult to deal with, but in the end they were wiped out in 6 breaths. Their performance is no better than ours." The female captain slapped him on the head. Bullsh *T. Is it something to be proud of to be wiped out by a group of children? It's just that the deep-sea wild wolves were completely defeated. The host shouted, they won. The thug legend continued to fight a legendary battle. 6th breath. Dear friends in the audience, this is an astonishing number. Let's shout and applaud for the thug legend. Thug legend. Thug legend, the arena with more than 50,000 people was already boiling at this moment. Although they didn't see anything clearly, the deep-sea wild wolves were killed in the blink of an eye. This also proved the strength of the 4th Academy. When they all returned to Luo Xiaobai's side, they didn't go backstage to rest. Instead, Luo Xiaobai looked at the host and said, "Can we start the next game now?" The host was taken aback. "Are you sure you don't need to rest?" Luo Xiaobai replied, "No." Someone in the audience shouted, "Why do we need to rest? Before our butts warmed up, the opposite side died. How much energy can we consume? Let's start the next game." Next game. Next game. With the rising and falling voices of the audience, the host stood up and put one foot on the table. Let's welcome the second team. They once broke a 10-game winning streak in the arena. Among them, there is a manipulator, a spirit gatherer, and 3 soul warriors. Facing such a team, how can the thug legend win? Let's wait and see. Now, let's welcome the Armor Frenzy team. Han Fei smiled. "Quang, let's fight." Lu Renquang wondered, "Are you coming now?" Han Fei said indifferently, "We are going to win 100 games in a row. Sooner or later." Lu Renquang sighed. "Okay. I feel that after winning 100 games in a row, I can lose at least 50 kilograms. Han Fei sighed. "Lose weight. I can't let Zhang Xuanyu be the only winner." The host announced, "The game starts." Fuse. Before the other side fused, the audience only saw Han Fei and Lu Renquang running to the opposite side like fools. "Hey, what are they doing? Are they going to fight 2 against 5? The manipulator just now is so smart. Now these 2 are not convinced? Are they going to fight 2 against 5? The eyes of the 3 soul warriors lit up. "What do you mean? 1-on-1? Do you think we are those hunters who only have explosive power?" Print. Suddenly, Han Fei and Lu Renquang sped up. Their speed was comparable to that of a hunter. Scar of war shadows. Violent war body. The 2 fatties, like barbaric behemoths, directly collided head-on. Unfortunately, there was no armorist on the opposite side. Even if there was an armorist, so what? The obligation of a soul warrior was to stand on the front line and stop all enemies. If they ran away, their manipulator and spirit gatherer would be killed. Bam, smoke and dust billowed, and the 2 figures on the opposite side flew out like arrows from the bowstring. The remaining soul warrior was speechless and shouted, "Come on, control these 2 fatties." Zhang Xuanyu chuckled. "Hey, it's me you should be careful of." 7-layered waves in furious sea. Xia Shaochan suddenly appeared next to the opposing spirit gatherer. "Who said I would fight the manipulator?" The next moment 5 opponents. Of the 5 people, 3 were directly disabled. One of them fought with Zhang Xuanyu, causing dust to fly. The remaining manipulator probably had 10,000 iron-head fish galloping in his heart. "I haven't used my combat skills yet and 3 of my teammates have already been defeated. In the face of these 2 fatties and a hunter, how could I fight?" In the end, the manipulator wrapped himself up. Unfortunately, Xia Shaochan directly passed through the 3 Swordsmanship League's defense. In less than a second, the manipulator was defeated. The remaining soul warrior directly gave up. Okay, you won." The host. The host felt that he was about to lose his job. What happened to this competition? How could this be called a competition? This was a one-sided dazzling skill, okay? Thug legend, the cheers of the audience came wave after wave. Although the battle seemed very simple, the opponents won 2 consecutive battles. The opponents had no power to fight back at all. Luo Xiaobai looked at the host. Next game. As a result, 1 game, 2 games, 5 games in the following battle, only a team of double armorists lasted for 5 minutes. The other teams all finished the battle within 5 minutes. Outside the Blue Sea Arena, the staff kept shouting, "Stop placing bets today, stop placing bets." Someone said angrily, "Why should we stop? The odds of the Thug legend are very low." The staff thought to himself, if the odds are low, won't we lose? These thugs are too King ferocious. We've found 10 teams but none of them can defeat them. The 10th game. Han Fei set up a spirit-gathering array under his feet and poured spiritual energy directly into the bodies of his 4 teammates. After a while they were full of energy. Luo Xiaobai said, "Next game." However, only one of the opponents came out. As soon as he arrived on the field, he said to the host, "We admit defeat," and then turned around and left. Lu Renquang asked, 10 consecutive victories? The others? Outside the arena, Bao Jin was speechless and said to his men beside him, "Replace all the teams that will play in 3 days with intermediate great fishing masters. Junior great fishing masters are no match for them at all." If you want to talk about fishing God with more like-minded people, follow Yu Will Literature on WeChat. Read 2. Chapter 161. When they returned to the private room, Xiaoyu and the others looked at them as if they were monsters. Especially Xia Shaochan and Luo Xiaobai. It could be said that Xia Shaochan defeated the captains of all the teams, Luo Xiaobai controlled all the people she could control, and the 3 of them just fought. Xiaoyu suddenly asked, "Do you want to eat hot pot?" Lu Renquang's eyes lit up. "Yes, yes, yes. Sister, you know me." Zhang Xuanyu slapped Lu Renquang away. "Girl, why don't you come to our school for dinner? There are mountains, rivers, and forests there. Eating hot pot is a kind of enjoyment." Xiaoyu took a step back. Then, "Forget it." Han Fei frowned. "Enough, you two." The fish dragons had begun to acquire the major shops on the floating island. Right now, the hot pot restaurant is being renovated. Let's eat there. At this moment, Bao Jin came to inform them, "Students, your next competition might have to wait for 3 days." Luo Xiaobai frowned. "Why so long?" Bao Jin wiped his sweat. "After all, it's not easy to find a team. The few of you won too easily, and there was no challenge, right? In these 3 days, we will try our best to find those outstanding teams to ensure that everyone's trip will not be in vain." Lu Renquang muttered, "Fine. The sooner we finish the fight, the sooner we can get the second brocade pouch." Luo Xiaobai snapped, "Shut up." Lu Renquang knew that he had said something wrong and quickly shut up. But the speaker didn't mean anything, while the listener had his own thoughts. Bao Jin and Wang Baiyu were both wondering what the second brocade sachet meant. According to Bao Jin's understanding, Han Fei and the others were playing the 100-game winning streak just to complete a task. Once the mission was over, they wouldn't be able to come back. Wang Baiyu thought that they were doing what was in the first brocade sachet. But the first brocade pouch was already so difficult, what about the second one? Well, could there be a third one? Was there any secret in the 4th Academy? Outside the Blue Sea Arena, they were surrounded as soon as they came out. Thug legend, the crowd was excited. Many people raised their hands and cheered. Some people crowded around him. Of course, they didn't come for Han Fei and Lu Renquang. Xia Shaochan. I like you, Luo Xiaobai, I like you. Brother Yu, I like you so much. Brother Yu, do you like puppy love? I canto accompany you. Brother Yu, I'm willing to go into the sea with you. Han Fei and Lu Renquang were dumbfounded. What's going on? Why did so many fans suddenly appear? Xia Shaochan and Luo Xiaobai didn't have as many fans as they expected. Among them, Luo Xiaobai had the fewest admirers because she was too cold. However, Zhang Xuanyu was different. Everyone in the crowd called him Brother Yu, which gave everyone goosebumps. However, Zhang Xuanyu didn't know that and waved at everyone with a smile. Han Fei, will you be my boyfriend? Han Fei looked at the source of the sound and his face turned green. What did a girl who was fatter than an iron-head fish mean? Han Fei immediately pushed Lu Renquang forward and shouted, I'm already in love. No, he's looking for a girlfriend. Lu Renquang. Lu Renquang was horrified. Although he was fat, it didn't mean that he liked fat people. Xia Xiaochan's face turned green. I'm in love too. I'm already in love with Han Fei. Go away. Han Fei. Xia Xiaochan glanced at the happy Zhang Xuanyu and the frightened Lu Renquang and whispered to Han Fei, I can't say that I'm in love with Xiao Bai, can I? Pu Xiangnan, who was behind Han Fei, almost knelt down on the spot. Xia Xiaochan. How could such a beautiful girl fall in love with Han Fei? Did she like fat men? Jia Tong's eyes were blank. No love, no love. I seem to see the picture of a spirit swallowing fish and an iron-head fish together. It's too beautiful to imagine. Wang Baiyu. He Xiaoyu's eyes widened and she pouted, completely dumbfounded. Han Fei was also dumbfounded. Didn't you just want money? But when did I agree to it? Below, a group of people were howling and scolding Han Fei. Damn fatty, do you think you deserve a girlfriend? Damn fatty, I'm going to kill you. Yes, I want a duel with you. Among all the people, only Zhang Xuanyu was happy. He walked into the crowd, and some people even took the initiative to throw themselves into his arms. More importantly, this guy also hugged Zhang Xuanyu looked satisfied. Haha, don't get excited. We're going to the Fish Dragon Hot Pot restaurant. Anyone want to go to the Fish Dragon Hot Pot restaurant? Let's go, let's go, let's go together. Brother Yu, I want to sit at the same table with you. Brother Yu, I can help you get food. Brother Yu, I can help you pay the bill. Han Fei and the others. The Fish Dragon Hot Pot restaurant. Li Gang was directing the renovation. Hurry up, hang up the sign. We'll be open for business from tomorrow onwards. Have you stocked up? Hurry up and put them away. Are the seasonings ready? From tomorrow onwards, we'll offer a 50% discount. There must be a lot of customers. You guys, go to the other shops to inspect them. Have you done it? 10 shops, none of them can be missing. All of them will be open at half price tomorrow. Suddenly, someone said, Brother Gang, look, what are you looking at? Get to work. No, Brother Gang, it seems that someone is looking for trouble. Li Gang, huh? Li Gang looked back and his face turned green. How many people were there in such a majestic manner? Thousands of people? Li Gang broke out in a cold sweat. Hurry up, everyone run. No, we can't run away. Remember to cover your head when you are beaten later. Let's go and ask for help. But then Li Gang found something wrong. Why did he seem to see Zhang Xuanyu? This guy was surrounded by a group of girls and pushed forward. Li Gang swallowed. Wait a minute, something seems wrong. When Zhang Xuanyu saw Li Gang, he immediately waved. Uncle Gang, prepare the hot pot. We have guests. Li Gang. The members of the Fish Dragons. They were dumbfounded. We haven't even opened for business yet and we're already so famous? Li Gang shivered and shouted at the crowd. Move! Open the door and welcome the guests. Open the door ahead of time. Han Fei jumped up from behind the crowd. Save the private room, my private room. Seeing Han Fei behind the crowd, Li Gang immediately rushed upstairs. After a moment. In the end, Li Gang failed to keep his private room, and it was directly occupied by someone else. He tried his best but could only keep a table in the hall. Son, Li Gang said with a sad face, Young master, I'm incompetent. I failed to keep your exclusive private room. Han Fei patted him on the shoulder helplessly. I know you have tried your best. By the way, give each guest here 2 fish dragon cards. Li Gang's eyes lit up. Yes, young master. Xia Xiaochan asked curiously, What are fish dragon cards? Han Fei smiled mysteriously. You'll know in a moment. Originally, when everyone gathered together, some people outside who couldn't come in left helplessly, and some people were still waiting foolishly outside. Many people wanted to come over and strike up a conversation. Han Fei stood up and suddenly had an idea. Everyone be quiet and listen to me, someone muttered. Who wants to listen to you? You're not a girl. However, 2 fish dragon cards suddenly appeared in Han Fei's hand. He said, You may not know this, but the bosses behind this fish dragon hot pot restaurant are the 5 members of the Thug Legend. Since you're here today, we'll give you a 50% discount. Wow, your restaurant. This chapter is edited by Update. Isn't the 4th Academy so poor that you can't even afford to eat? So you tricked us into coming here to eat? Han Fei shouted. Calm down, be quiet. Everyone, listen to me. Today, not only will there be a 50% discount, but there will also be a 50% discount. As the big boss behind the scenes, I've prepared some gifts for you. Gang Z, give us the fish dragon cards. Dozens of members of the fish dragons picked up the frames and gave away the cards one by one. What's this? Isn't this the scale of a green turtle? Huh? Interesting. There are patterns of blade fish and tentacle lobsters on this scale. It's quite realistic. This carving technique is good. Han Fei, what's this thing for? Yes, I don't understand it. Why are there numbers on it? And there are so many repetitions. Han Fei smiled. Don't worry, everyone. Let me show you how Gang Z makes a card game. As Han Fei explained the rules, he asked Li Gang and the others to move a small table and play cards. After a while, someone learned how to play. Someone murmured, Interesting. It seems to be fun. Someone shouted, Does anyone want to play at the table? Let's join the table? Let's go. If you want to talk about fishing God with more like-minded people, follow You Read Literature on WeChat, chat about life and find confidence read too.